Okay, so I'm live. Said I'd take it live just a couple minutes earlier than I'd planned. The show I was watching finished. So, welcome to the live stream. Saturday night, and I should have been at the drag strip, but I'm not. Nothing went wrong other than I didn't feel good when I got done fixing my trailer and loading my car and just decided to stay home tonight. Simple as that. Just wasn't feeling it. It's really hot out, and I guess I was out in the heat a little bit too much today. But hey, boss man. But I did get the turn signal and brake light on the driver's side of my trailer working again today. And then I also, for good measure, replaced the plug for the trailer, the 7-pin plug. I replaced it because it had some really sloppy connections in it. So, hey, Zach. So I replaced it. It was pretty easy. The hard part was getting the light fixed. It was just a wire, so the wires were running down through the strut that I drilled through to mount the new hasp to hold the door in, and I didn't realize there were wires in there, and drilled right through some, or well, one. I drilled right through the yellow wire, and that's the one I needed. So I ended up replacing it, but it works now. All's good. Oh, let's see who all we can get in here tonight. See, we just got 3 of you right now. Zach, Boss Man, me, and somebody else. Not sure who the somebody else is. Why don't you say hi in the chat, whoever it is? Or not. I'll just sit here. I just came on to chat with people or talk or something because I'm not doing anything tonight. I stayed home. My wife's not home, so I'm kind of bored. If she were home, I had some other TV shows I could watch because I watch them with her. But she's not here. She went out with her friends. And I mean, I was supposed to be out. I was supposed to be at the drag strip, just getting some 8th Mile. But it wasn't a TNT tonight. It was a streetcar takeover thing or streetcar shootout. That's what it was. It was the streetcar shootout. And I could have run in 2 of the classes, an index class and then one of the other classes if I wanted to. But I need more practice in that car. I need to be able to get it down. I want to try and get my times down. I am scheduled, though. I am scheduled to do, the Holly Ford Fest at Beach Bend, which is in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the end of September. So September 29th through October 1st. I'm only doing the Saturday, Sunday. I'm not doing the Thursday, Friday part of it. I just don't want to have to take the time off. So I'll just get everything prepped and I'll head up there on Friday after work. And hopefully by then I can either get my wife or my son to go with me, somebody who can run the pit for me. There we are. Hey, Zach. So, but other than that, that will hopefully happen. And I don't know if I'll get to the quarter-mile track before then. So that'll be fun. I'm running in bracket. I'm doing open bracket because I can't compete with a lot of others, or I just didn't. They had so many different things they could run in, and I can run bracket racing. I've done that plenty of times. It's not super easy for a stick shift, but I can do it. What's up, Brian? Stick shift makes it harder to run bracket. I do know that because you're trying to get the same time every time and as close to it as possible. So I really need to learn my car better. Really kind of hoping I could get my other clutch sent out here and swap my clutch out to get a nicer clutch. But I actually don't think my clutch is bad so much as it is. I'm not so sure about my throw out, or the not the throw out bearing, but the if you know the name for it, the slave cylinder. Yeah, the slave cylinder that opens the clutch up. I don't know if it's like linear. It feels like it doesn't have a linear regression. And it may just be the clutch that I'm still not used to correctly because it's the first time I've ever used a twin disc clutch. I don't know. Could be any kind of thing. Could just be that I don't know how to drive. That's totally possible. Maybe I just don't know how to drive a stick shift and should just give it up and go automatics for everything instead of just my truck. I mean, in Funky Stream last night, if anybody was watching, you saw that I screwed up one of the bearings in my transmission that I was fixing and upgrading. And so with that bearing screwed up, I'm on hold again, waiting for a bearing to show up. Hey, Bama. I hope everybody is doing. Yeah, well, we're doing. Well or not, we're doing. Because if we weren't, we wouldn't be here. It is like really hot in this house right now. I don't think my AC is working so well. It's not. But really hot for me is probably cold for a lot of y'all. 73 degrees in my living room, and I don't like it. What's up, MJI? Welcome to the chat. Just figured I'd come on Saturday night, nothing better to do. If anybody wants to come up in the panel, should have the link pinned at the top. I'm just kind of hanging out. Kind of a boring night. I haven't been doing much tonight. Since my wife left earlier, I watched a couple of shows, and now I ran out of stuff to watch. So, and now I'm sitting here sweating, doing nothing, which is just not fair. It's really humid in here. It's like, I don't know, my AC can't keep up or something. Probably need to change out the filter. Most likely I need to change out the filter. Yeah, there we go. Move that metal. So I did all the work to get my car in the trailer. Oh, thank you. That's Spring Park down the road from where I live right now. I took that picture, I think, last in the spring on a non-cloudy day. It wasn't super warm, but oh no, when I was on Funky's chat, I was on camera. You could have watched me do it. I had to take something apart because I'd replaced something I wasn't supposed to replace with a new version of it, because that new version was supposed to go on the other side. Come to find out, the other side parts had already been replaced, so I could have just left it. So it was all, the 3, 4, 5, 6 gears had already had upgraded synchros in them. And when I was trying to pull the bearing off, you can't really get into it. The original ones are plastic, and I'd already replaced those with the metal ones, and you kind of damage the plastic ones when you take them off. But they at least give a little bit, so it doesn't damage them too much. The metal ones just kind of bent up when I was, putting the bearing remover on it, because there really isn't enough room to get under it easily without damaging something. At least not with the one I have. Mind you, I have one probably from Harbor Freight, but it doesn't get small enough in the middle where it clamps around it. It doesn't really get low enough, I don't think, or small enough. So maybe with a better one, I wouldn't have damaged it, but I damaged it. So $50 bearing out the door. I should have another one next week. Already ordered it. Yeah, we're doing well tonight, Bam. Glad you finished that one. What's up, Josh? How's it going? I should have been at the drag strip, but like I said, just didn't feel like it after I got everything ready. I mean, I was getting ready. I had the car loaded. I was getting ready to take my car and go down in town and grab a bunch of ice to throw in the cooler, so I could ice down the ice tank tonight, because I finally drained it out some so I could put ice in it, and was going to do all that and get some cash, because they only take cash there, and just started feeling bad, so I decided to stay home, save me some money at least. Yeah, it's not crazy expensive. I just wish I could have found one faster. I wish I could have found one locally, but being it was Friday night, I mean, none of the parts stores seem to carry them. It's not an odd, it's a metric it's a metric size, but I wouldn't think it was odd. But just trying to look it up by the Timken number that was on it was near impossible. And I don't know. Like I said, I could reuse the plastic bearing that came out was still in fine shape. It's still usable. I could reuse it, but I don't want to. So I've replaced all the plastic bearings in it so far. So might as well wait and get the last one. I'd rather do it right than do it wrong. The other thing I probably think I should get is a new input shaft seal, because that's the one seal that I didn't get in the kit that I bought. But the kit I bought was mainly for the differential, and it doesn't require you to pull the input seal. So I got new differential seals and new bearings for the differential, and all that was all replaced. But the kit I bought, I didn't buy the complete kit for doing the synchro upgrade. I bought a partial kit and then went back later and bought the bearings and the screws that you need, the bearing that I screwed up. But if I'd bought the complete kit, it probably would have saved me a couple dollars, and it did come with an input shaft seal. So now I just got to order one of those. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, the one I've got looks pretty good. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it was damaged when I took it out, because I was really careful taking the input shaft out. So. I've never rebuilt a transmission before either, MJI. So it was a new adventure for me. I watched a couple of videos, and the reason I ended up going back and having to change one is because after I did the first part of it, I went and watched the best video I had found so far, and I hadn't seen it before. And my God, I wish I'd found it first. The guy was really good about how he took everything apart, told you what it was, how to do it, exactly what to do, and which ones needed replaced, which ones didn't. And that's why I had to go back in and fix the thing I changed that I shouldn't have. But had I known that the other side had already had upgraded synchros, and it's the 3.4 that's probably the reason they upgraded, because the 3.4 seems to go out first. If I had known those had already been replaced, I wouldn't have needed to go in and get that other one, because I wouldn't have needed it. But that's the way it goes. You live, you learn. It's definitely a learning experience. I'll be happy if it all works when I'm done and works correctly, because I redid all the synchros. So I actually took the whole thing apart. I mean, the only thing I didn't take apart were the pressed on gears. I didn't take any of the pressed on gears off. But I took it mostly apart, got it all back together so far. The hard part's going to be getting the last pieces back together and putting the case back together and making sure that I don't need to change the shims in it, which will really suck if I do. The preload shims. But, on that, I could just go with it and say the hell with it and hope it's good. We'll see. I'll probably check them just to make sure the preloads are good. I have the tools to do the test, the checking. I have the dial indicators and all the little tools I need for that. So that's not too hard. So I'm just ready to get it back together, make sure it works, get it connected with the new clutch and flywheel to the motor I have sitting out there, bolt the new turbo up to it, I'm probably going to leave the downpipe and the wastegate pipe off until after it's back in the car, because they're kind of in a tight spot. And if I put those on first, it'll make it harder to put back in. So I want to be able to do the engine swap in like 2 days. I don't know if I'll be able to by myself, but I'd like to do the engine transmission swap in 2 days, because I've got so much else to do when I do that. Because I'm also changing out my engine mounts, my motor mounts, the rear motor mount, the side motor mount, the transmission mount. They're all being replaced with solid mounts, except for the rear. That one's just a tighter mount than the stock one. I'm going to be doing the sway bars, end links. I'm putting Fortune 500 coilovers all the way around. I'm changing out all my brake lines and my clutch line to stainless steel. Changing out my brakes to the Willwoods that I have for it all the way around. And all that's happening when I take it down, so it's not running. I'm doing everything at one time. Having help would be nice, but it's probably going to be down for a couple of weeks. And that's like my main daily driver. But when I'm done with it, it should be a much nicer car. Then the only thing I have to do is take it in and get an alignment done. I'm not planning on, I'm going to lower it just a little bit, but not as low as I had my old one. So I'll probably go like ½ inch lower all the way around, just nice and even. My old one was like an inch lower. But I don't need it to be that low. I need it to clear speed bumps, and the roads around here are not the greatest, especially going into businesses off the road. They've got like these dips and valleys, these that are just horrible. And I want my car to be able to make it over that. So I did have an oil cooler that was supposed to go on, but I'm missing some parts for it, so that's not going to happen. And then in the front end, I've got front mount intercooler to go, which swap that out to the bigger one that I have. I've got to do some work on the front end of it to clear out. There's a bar across the middle of the what's that thing called? Yeah, my brain's dead. But there's a bar in the middle of what's the grate on the front of the car called that lets air in? What's it called? Somebody help me. That's fine, Ben. And we got Mike's Garage coming in. What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm just trying to remember a word that I'm just dying on here.
That's the word is
that where the air comes in. What's it called?
It's called Father Time.
No, yeah, I know what that's called. That's my brain. Yeah. And alcohol, but I just started drinking, like 2 sips.
Yeah, no, that's Father Time. You're talking about the intake?
Not the intake, the thing that lets the air into the radiator. My God, what's it called? Front.
Thing that lets the air into the radiator.
Big front of the bumper. It's got holes in it. Big thing, it's wide. It's in the front of most cars. The grill. Thank you. Oh my God. So on the grill of the ST, there's a big black bar that's supposed to stop air from coming in to slow it down so it doesn't get too much air, so it doesn't get too cold and cause condensation inside the front mount intercooler. That was at least what they said. But those have to be shaved off, and it takes a while. It's a pain in the ass. Yes, grill was the word I was looking for. It's freaking horrible. I'm just dying here. Y'all can make fun of me.
It's all good. I was playing with my excavator today, trying to keep that fire going.
Was that a live? Did you have a live feed going?
Yeah.
So I missed it live, but I watched it later.
Yeah, I ended up bending my hydraulic thumb, and I got a cylinder that's leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pushing it a little too hard for a little machine.
Yeah, it looked like you were pushing it kind of hard. Hydraulic thumb. What is that?
So you have your bucket.
Yeah.
And then you have the thumb, and it helps you grab stuff so you could pick up things.
Oh, you've got that. That's that extra part you have on yours that not all of them have.
Yeah. But mine's hydraulic instead of fixed, so I could actually use it as a grapple to pick stuff up.
Nice. So you could come up to somebody. Now, if that thing could rotate, you could just grab somebody. That'd be awesome. It'd be like a big ED-209 or something. No, 209 just had guns. Be like a big robot in a bad sci-fi movie.
I mean, it's good for someone who's got, a little homestead or something, but you can't do heavy duty stuff. So I'm going to have to reach out to the guy that stacked all the wood. He's got a big old, front loader with a excavator attachment on the back. It's like a 36,000 pound machine.
Mm.
So I'm like, dude, you're going to have to help me burn the piles. I'm going to have to pay him to burn it, because what you got to do is you get it going, you got good red coals at the bottom, and you got to start picking up stuff and just jamming into it, and you just keep on feeding it until you burn everything out. Where I can only do like the medium stuff,
Yeah.
but I can't pick up trees that are this, 2 feet wide and 20 feet long. It's heavy stuff.
He's in the Raleigh area, I think, MJI.
Yeah, I'm west of Raleigh.
Oh, you're west of Raleigh?
Huh?
No, that's not actually, you're not too far from Charlotte then. Probably what, 70 minutes, 70, 75 miles ish? Depending on the
A
road.
little bit. I'm much closer to Raleigh than I am to Charlotte, and I'm north of where you grew up.
You're north of where I grew up.
Yeah, famous
I don't remember
racetrack.
what's up there. That's fine.
I'm talking cryptic.
I don't remember the towns anyway, and I barely. Last time I was in my town was for a funeral, of course, and
Well, it hit a racetrack that you and I have talked about multiple times.
Oh yeah, I know where you're talking about. That's where I grew up. So,
yep.
But I'm trying to think. The last time I was there, it's like I was lost, man. I couldn't remember how to get to places, and I get to an intersection, and I'm like, well, this would take me down here, and then I get told, no, that does not take you where you think it does. You need the next road down. I was like, really? I'm just like, it's been so long since I lived there. 1990, I moved out.
What I like is Pinehurst. That's freaking nice there.
That's where my mom lived when she passed on. She was living in Pinehurst.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
Oh, my stepdad was living too when he passed. Was in Pinehurst.
Yeah, I can't afford that area.
They had a condo there in a retirement area condo. It was really nice. Wasn't huge, but it was really nice.
Because the houses, you're going to spend some serious money.
Well, when they bought theirs, we're talking over 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was cheaper.
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper, but it was still Pinehurst. It was, and he was a big golfer, like huge. Like, we belonged to the country club in the area I lived in the county I lived in. It was a really nice private club. Went there. I mostly played in the pool until I got older, and then I started playing golf a little bit. I was actually kind of good at it, and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed other things more, so I didn't really stick to it. Really, I love the place. I just, I can't say I can't see myself living there. I couldn't see myself living there due to jobs in that town. It'd definitely be a commute town.
So let me ask you this question. Your education is quite good. You've got a skill set which is in demand. Why can't you do remote?
Because my education is so old now, and I have forgotten most of it. My skill set is not that good in IT anymore because I don't do it. I haven't done it in years.
But electrical, you do electrical engineering now, right?
I am not an electrical engineer. No. If I was an electrical engineer, I'd probably get paid twice what I get paid. Even at the company I work at. I am an electrical designer.
Okay.
Which just means the engineers do all the work, give me the information, and I give them the product, the control panels and the wiring and all that.
So physically you have to do that?
I do. Well, I barely do any of the actual building. I do most of the drawings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're doing the drawings, then you can do remote then, right?
I could, yeah, but not for my company because there are times like 4th of July weekend where I had to go and help do the install.
But it's
10 people in the company, so it's not a huge company.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I'm just thinking if you can do one that's remote, because if you're working out of a area that pays a lot, you get paid a lot, doesn't matter where you're at in the country. So like my company that I work for is based out of Chicago. I'm getting Chicago rates. Living in North Carolina, but I'm getting Chicago rates. Yeah. So if you could do remote.
I was going to try and do that part-time with my old company to do some drawing work for them. Problem is they moved on. They don't use AutoCAD anymore, and I don't like what they use now, and it was never set up correctly. So I don't want to have to try and learn it and do it the way they were doing it because it wasn't set up correctly, because they didn't pay the money for it to be set up correctly.
Typical.
Yeah. But that's unusual though, because they were doing things where they were putting money into things to make sure they were done right. But this was the engineer that was there at the time that decided they weren't going to spend the money on it. Not the big boss who was willing to spend the money.
Right.
He was willing to spend it. And the engineer said, I got this kind of thing. I can do it. We don't need to spend it. And he did not do it. But I don't know how to use that software that well. So it would have been a learning curve. And they gave me the job details and everything with like less than 7 days to get it done when they knew I was going to be on vacation for 4 of those days.
That sucks.
Well, they just were slow about it. It was the HR being slow about things. Had they been a little quicker, I could have done it. Because I offered this job, and then they hired a new engineer finally, who's going to be able to do the drawings. So I guess the engineer will do the drawings. I feel for the 2 guys that I don't know one of them, but the one guy I worked with who's doing my old job without the drawing part of it. Because when I started working there, I did the drawings, the design, and the build and the install because I was the electrical department. It was just me. We grew. We actually got more people. We got an electrical engineer. And we had a couple electrical engineers I really liked, but they moved on to better jobs that paid more. And only reason I left that was because I had to leave Washington and I couldn't do my job remotely.
Right.
Worked in the shop.
What would it take for you to be an engineer?
A lot. All the engineering classes. I didn't take any. I did IT. I did network administration with a minor in security. So it would take a lot for me to become an engineer. And at this age, as you've seen with my brain not working the way I want it to, school would be really hard. And I still owe $37,000 out of $100 and some thousand.
I get it.
Student loans. I'm tired of paying student loans. I don't want to add on to that.
I get it.
I should have never gone to college for what I did because it didn't do me any good.
I went to DeVry. So
I went to DeVry once. In fact, I started at DeVry. I started at DeVry and then switched. I ended up at Western Governors University doing online because my travel with my work, I couldn't go to school. I had to do mostly online.
Most of mine was online, yeah. I did DeVry. Mine was major was security, minor was networking.
Yeah. So when I started at DeVry, my major was computer hardware engineering. So an electrical engineer with the higher emphasis of microelectronics.
Okay. Cool.
And computers. And I switched that major down because I was looking at, wanting easier classes. That's all. That's it. No lie. I'm going to not lie. I wanted easier classes because I didn't start until I was in my 30s. So I was not young.
Same here. Yeah. I
think it took me a good 6 years to get a 4-year degree.
Took me 5 and I started at 29.
I was, how old was I? I was like 34.
Yeah.
35 maybe? No, 30. Let me think. When did I get out of the Army? 96. So it was 10 years after that. 2006. I was 35. I started when I was 35 because I started 1 month too late to use my GI Bill, which would have at least covered basically what I still owe.
Yeah.
$36,000. But I didn't get to use it. So
yeah, my wife got screwed out of hers.
Yeah.
It's
People
common.
are dropping like flies now. 30 minutes in, and we've lost half of everybody. Mob must be working or on day shift, or haven't seen him in a couple of days, so he must be on one of the must be working. It's probably day shift.
If people are dropping, it's probably because of me, because I normally talk on topics outside of cars. Yeah.
You too. I talk on topics outside of cars here all the time.
Yeah.
No, you just get a big bunch that come in for the first 10, 15 minutes. And I've seen this on all my lives, and I can look at it in my analytics, and it always drops off. And sometimes it'll pick up, sometimes it won't. It just depends how late at night, what people are doing.
Yeah.
1 second. I'm going to send a message here to somebody, see if they're around.
So, Zach, what do you do for work?
None. I'm still college.
What do you go to school for?
Cybersecurity.
No shit, that's what I do. Specifically, what in cybersecurity?
I forget what it is.
What's your emphasis? Are you more red team or blue team?
I don't know.
I'm pink team, damn it. Pink team all the way.
Yeah. So red team is your attackers, blue team is your defenders.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I was blue team when I did it. So
Yep. That's what I am as a defender. Do you
And-
like to attack systems, Zach, or do you like to defend them?
Defend.
I got taken out a few times in training when I was doing some of that.
Yeah, I've done offensive and defensive. I've got a bunch of certs. My specialty was always web application security, IDS, IPS, NACS, network access control, stuff like that.
What's up, Ford Bluegate? Your steel shed 30 feet. Why do you have to move your steel shed 30 feet?
Steel's heavy.
Yeah, well, I know it. It's heavy, but I'm asking why he has to move it.
I had to move my 10 by 10, but that's a lot
Move-
lighter.
moving- That carport I have, that's 18 by 20, and it's steel and aluminum, the aluminum top, steel frame. That took me, and I did it by myself. That took me half a day to do, and I only had to move it from the driveway next door to my driveway. We're talking 40, 50 feet, maybe.
Well, how'd you move yours? I took mine and I put it, I jacked it up. I put Harbor Freight dollies on the four corners, and then I pulled it with my pickup truck.
Okay, so you were on some kind of flat ground. I am not. I was on trying to get it onto my gravel driveway that's raised about that high above the ground it was on, and in between was really soft dirt, really soft. So the way I did it is I lifted it up and I put 4x4s under it, in the front and in the back, and then I slid it across those 4x4s using at first manual power. Like I had the big those big yellow things, the DeWalt, you use them to pry things and move things around, whatever.
Yeah.
Use those and just pushing up on it and doing all that and making it slide off of it.
So you were doing like the old fashioned before we had tools.
Yes, yes, I was. I was using leverage, and it definitely hurt me. And then I finally thought about I grabbed my winch and I chained it to my fence on the fence post closest to the house, which I knew would be more solid than any of the other ones because it's in concrete next to a big pad of concrete.
Nice.
So I chained it to that. I went and grabbed my chain, put some chain in, chained it around the fence post, and then put the pin in because it's on a mount for like a trailer mount, like a hitch mount. And so I put the pin through and the chain and through so it hold it, and then I hooked it to that, kept it on the boards, and started tugging it with a chain that went from the front to the back, so it was pulling it evenly. Because otherwise, when I tried to pull from the center by itself, it tried to bend the shit out of it. Built from 1/8-inch steel plate, 10 by 20. Have to move it from middle of backyard to the alley so tow truck can pick it up. Oh, gotcha.
Tow truck ain't
That's a
gonna be happy
lot
with
of
you.
work, Blue. A lot
It's a
of
lot
work.
of weight. Yeah. So, Zach, question for you. What classes are you taking right now?
Have me doing a math. I think 2 maths and another computer class and something else.
Have you gone into your cybersecurity classes yet or no?
Yes.
Cool. Hit me up sometime. Like to talk about that.
Yep. I'm almost done. I have to this spring. I should once I'm done this spring, I'm done. I graduate, I'm out.
Yeah, hit me up on the side. I know a lot of people in the industry.
How much does it cost to move a shed? Well, the way he's doing it and the way I did it, MJI, it doesn't cost anything other than time and effort.
Well, I mean, it depends. His buddy with the tow truck, how much he charges them. It's a buddy,
I
and
think the tow truck belongs to the guy whose house he's moving into.
oh,
I think that
That's
belongs to their company. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Ford Blue would correct me if I am.
that makes it a lot easier.
I think they have a tow truck to use, a flatbed tow truck, and Ford Blue's doing all the work of moving it 30 feet to the alley so he can, whew, that's a lot of work.
Yep.
10 by 20 and it's 1/8-inch steel plate. What do you have that for the apocalypse?
It's better than
Is
quarter
it
inch steel. Quarter inch steel would really suck to move.
Oh yeah, it would. Oh my god, 1/8-inch is heavy enough. That's heavier than 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Hell, that's heavier than 10 gauge, isn't it?
Well, quarter inch would take a 12 gauge and do okay against
Oh,
it.
yeah. The 1/8 inch is 125, and I think 10 gauge steel is just under that.
Yeah.
So that's thick. That's heavy. Whew. No, thank you. And it's got walls too. It's not a carport. It's a shed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
no one's breaking into that.
And that's like trying to move a
Storage container.
yeah, one of the storage,
Actually, it would be like a small storage container.
like a small storage, like the containers, the shorties, the 20 footers.
Like the pods or something.
Well, I think pods are fairly light because I think those are aluminum. But like the shipping containers, the 20 footers, yeah, it's about the same. Theirs might be a little heavier due to their floor. I don't know if his has a floor or not.
And shipping containers cost what, like 20 grand? Or 2 grand? I'm sorry,
Depends
2
on
grand.
where you get them, how old they are, what shape they're in. I've seen prices go from 20 footers. I've seen them go from a couple $100, not delivered. There's a delivery fee, and that's pretty light. It's like 100, 150 at the most, usually, if they're not too far from you, all the way up to like $12,000 for a 40-foot shipping container.
And how wide are they?
8 feet maybe.
So you can't really put a car in it, but it's great as
Yes,
like
you
a
can.
storage
You
shed.
can put a car in it. How do I know? Because my trailer is 8 feet wide.
But it's tight though, right?
It's tight. I can't get in and out of it really easy, but I couldn't even do that in an 8.5 footer. I could do it easier in an 8.5 foot because I could open the door enough to where I could actually step out. Whereas this one, I have to pull myself out. But I've gotten good at it. And I set up some. And since I have those A-track or L-track, whatever, the L-track on the wall, I have rings in it for me to grab and pull myself up and lower myself in. Yeah.
Nice.
Car's in the trailer right now because I didn't feel like taking it out, and my wife was painting something in the spot in the garage where it usually goes. So I was just like, hell with it. It's fine inside there.
That would be a fun YouTube video. Here's how I get in and out of my car.
Well, okay, so generally I don't have to get out of it because I pull it in with the winch, which I do since I didn't go racing. I think tomorrow, if it's nice, I'm going to get the car out of it. I'm going to jack it up, put it on jack stands. I'm going to get under it, and I'm going to pull the winch out and swap it with the bigger winch I have. Because it's not, that winch struggles to get that car up in there because it's a 3,500 Warren, and my car weighs almost 3,800 pounds.
And it's pulling it up on an angle, which makes it worse.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize until, I didn't realize when I bought it, and even for a little while when I owned it, that the inside of my trailer's dovetailed.
Oh, that's nice.
The back end of it goes down. It's like, oh, I've walked through it a few times before I realized it, that it was dovetailed.
That's
Quick.
And
nice.
I really noticed it was when I took the walls apart and I took the sidewalls off, and the bottom of them was cut at an angle, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Dovetails are nice.
Yeah. I just wish it was longer than 24 feet because it's not measured floor footage. It's measured the outside. It's 24 foot, but it's old school measurement because it was built in the 90s. It's a 98 or 99. And it was built by a manufacturer that normally did horse trailers. So, but other than that, I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad trailer. I like it. I could use more room. I got really used to that 34 footer I had, but that was a stacker. So it was huge monstrosity. I could not get it into this driveway. Even if I'd had this driveway when it was just too long because on the other side of the road, it drops into a big ditch. I wouldn't have been able to, I didn't have enough room to turn it into the driveway. Whereas I used to park it in my front yard in my old house.
So, any chance you could fill in a ditch and keep the trailer?
No, I got rid of that trailer. That ditch belongs to my neighbor, so probably not. And if I did fill it in, the city would come or the county would come and dig it out.
Oh,
Yeah. But no, it wouldn't fit in this driveway anyway. If I had bought the other house that I should have bought, the one I keep kicking myself for not buying, I would have been able to keep that trailer and I wouldn't have had to put near as much money into the house as I have this one. Because it had driveways that were nice. They weren't paved, but they were good. I wouldn't have had to build two different driveways. These driveways have cost me over $10,000. I've had to insulate a lot, and that's cost me a lot of money. I've had to do a lot of work under the house with water problems, and now that I'm not paying them, all the stuff down there seems to have quit working. Now that I'm not paying my monthly fee because it was just getting too damn expensive.
monthly fee for what?
For them to, take care of it and come check it if it ever stopped working, and it stopped working. So there's a dehumidifier and a sump pump down there. I think
That's right. You were telling me underneath the
they
floor.
still be working, but the dehumidifier has stopped. And I've checked, the power's still on. But I cannot physically fit down there. I'm too big. The under of my house is way small. Oh, I also had to have this floor redone in here, which was not cheap.
I remember
I
you
got it
said,
done I got it done extremely cheaply, but it's still cheap. And when I had them redo it, I had a company come in and spray all the wood that was in the studs to stop mold. They put that spray on it that'll stop fungus and mold from growing. And it's all green wood anyway. It's all ground contact style, even though it's not touching the ground. Because this used to be a paved carport. The pavement under here was so clean and pristine from where it used to be a carport. So this part of the house was not house. It was carport. Then it was a porch. And then it became living room. And that's why the electrical box, which is now in here, that used to be on the inside of the house, was in the kitchen in a bad spot. And I had them redo it. And that's another thing I spent a lot of money on was the electrical. So I had 100 amps ran to the garage where they only had 40 amps running before. What's up, Victor?
Victor?
They only had 40 amps running out there before, and the heat pump for the house is on that. Now the water and the other heat pump for the garage is on that.
40 amps?
That's all they had running out there. Now it's 100. So, and then I had the electrical redone. Come to find out that my weather head and the wires coming down into my old 200 amp box were only 100 amp wires hooked up to a 200 amp source.
That makes sense.
And that's the way it'd been for a long time. But
That
my
makes sense.
God, when they did the new ones, they did it with aluminum cable.
Ooh,
That caused them a lot of
sucks.
work. Oh, they were huge. I've done it before. I've done aluminum before, and just the route they had to do it was just a pain in the ass. I was like, God, just use copper. Spend a little more money. I'll pay for it. Jesus, it'll make it smaller. It's like half the size.
Transformer that I got in front of my house can do 400 amps. I've got a 200 watt, 200 amp panel at the house. I was trying to get a 400, but couldn't get one because of all the COVID shit at the time. You know, you couldn't find stuff. So now I'm running, I got it for the shop trench, and then I got to run 200 amp, and I have a 200 amp panel put in, but it's going to cost me a lot because I got to get the panel put in, I got to get the meter put in, I've got to get the shop wired up. And then on this house, I want to have a transfer switch installed, and then that way I can plug in my generator.
You just want a manual transfer, right?
Yeah.
You know, if I lived close, I would come help you with every bit of that because it's not that hard. I used to be an electrician residential, so I know residential electrician stuff. That's what I used to do for a couple of years. You know, it's the reason I have some of the jobs I have now is because they like to have that background of being an electrician.
Yeah.
You know, the high voltage stuff, or well, not high voltage, but they consider high voltage, not DC, not, 120 is, to me, 120, 240 is low voltage. That's all low voltage.
Right.
480 is low voltage in that regard. And I've always been a low voltage guy, so I don't deal with anything above 480 anymore. I used to deal with 600 plus, and I don't do that anymore because I've been shocked by it, and it hurts like a son of a.
So I understand how to do, I mean, I can wire stuff up and do basic stuff, but would I be able to follow the NEC and make everything perfect for North Carolina to where an inspector comes out and says, this is right, you've got the right depth, you've got this, you've got that. That's where I think I would screw up on. So in other words, I can do the redneck,
Right.
but
I
it
can
might
pass
not
it.
pass inspection.
I can pass inspection still.
Okay.
When you're a homeowner, they're a little bit more lenient. They're not so lenient that they'll let obvious stupid things fly. They're a little bit more lenient when you're like maybe an inch off. You know.
Well, it's like for running water to it. I'm just like you've seen my excavator. I dig a trench. My house has PEX. All I got to do is just tee it into my well pump after the filters that I have, and just run the get a roll of PEX and just run it out to the shop.
Because things don't freeze down here as much as they do in most places, they allow PVC plumbing here still, which is the worst shit. I hate PVC plumbing. Always have.
Yeah.
I know when I lived in North Carolina, we had a lot of copper lines and some galv.
Yeah.
But we did not have any of the PVC. My parents wouldn't have had it.
PEX isn't bad.
PEX is great. I love PEX. That's what I had them redo this house in. It's all PEX.
What do I gotta dig? What 24 inches, or do I need 36?
For electrical?
For
Are you running
electrical
gas
or
out
water?
there?
Huh?
You're okay. I'm trying to think what that. Well, I'd actually have to go look it up for your county.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up because it's a little bit different in some places, but generally it's about a foot in between each, sometimes 8 inches of you've got your gas main, your water main, and your electrical. Water and gas being the lower two, electrical being the higher one.
Yeah.
Electrical doesn't have to be as deep. I think electrical's like 8 to 12 inches down in most places. And then below that would be gas and water. And I don't remember the order they go in.
Yeah, so my water's on one side of the house, my electric's on the other one, and I have no natural gas.
Okay. Well, what you do is you bring them in separately, or you bring them into a together. You know, you bring them together, and
I'll do separate different
I do
trenches.
separate if it's
across.
a straighter run. The straight run, the shorter run's always best.
Yep.
That way you dig 2 trenches, no big deal. It'll grow back.
Yep.
I will say though, your excavator's great and all, but a ditch witch would be so much better.
Oh, ditch witches are nice.
I mean, you can rent them at some Home Depots and Lowe's, and they do such a better trench for what you need than an excavator can do, because
Right.
they cut a trench, they don't cut a hole, you know.
Right.
But I understand you have the equipment. I just use it.
Yeah. I mean, I could always get a thinner bucket, take
Yeah,
off the 16-inch and put a 9-inch on.
You could get the 9-inch, or I thought they made a 6-inch for those, but maybe not. Maybe not for those really small ones. And 9 inches is fine. But no matter what, you're going to be laying it and filling it right back in. It's not really a big deal either way.
Yeah.
So,
but I prefer to do a lot of the stuff myself.
I do too. I do too, even though it hurts me more to do it more and more.
So how do you rough in a bathroom when they're laying the concrete? Because I need to have a water tube to come in, and then I also need to have an out for like a toilet and stuff like that. Can I do that myself?
Are you talking plumbing?
Yeah.
You need to talk to a plumber. I am not a plumber. I can tell you that right now. I know so little about plumbing. I call a plumber almost every time now.
I'm.
So are you building the you're putting the form up to put the water lines in that bathroom, or is the bathroom already there?
So with the new shop, so when they pour the 4 inches of concrete, I want to make sure that I have the piping put in at the same time.
Yeah, what I did with mine, I just measured off. I made the form, put the dirt in to get my 4.5 inches, which most of it's 5 inch. I didn't give a shit. Thicker the better. I just run my pipes in where I want it from the edge of the wall. I knew what the thickness of the wall was. Measure in, put your pipe in, because you can. Now, as far as the toilet, I don't know about that, but your water line and all, you can put 23 angles, whatever you want to put in it to hook up to what you got to hook up to.
I'm pretty sure.
So I just run on my pipe underneath the form, 1.5 foot deep. And then once I got it in there, you just get it closed. All you want to do is get it closed to clear the wall, whatever you're going to put in. And then you go from there. I think I put all 3 of my PVC was, I don't know, 1.5 foot or more taller, coming up out of the form. Then you cut down, hook to them, and hook to your sink, whatever you want to do. If you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, I'm trying to cut costs. You look up how much did it cost to have like a bathroom put in. You're looking for a shop at $8 to $12,000, and it's like, fuck, that's a lot of money.
So in my garage upstairs, I wanted to put a bathroom and 2 sinks, a toilet and 2 sinks. I wanted a toilet with a sink next to it, and then a sink on the other side of the wall for a bar sink.
Right.
To get that plumbed, drainage and all that was going to be $4,500.
How long ago?
They had to dig out and run to my septic tank. That was where the real cost came from, was digging the run to the septic tank.
Yeah.
And so
because you was going through concrete, wasn't you? It was already there.
There is concrete already there, but they wouldn't have to go through it.
Okay, gotcha.
They could come out the wall and come down and then go out and under the concrete, But either way, it was more than I was willing to pay. So I don't have a bathroom upstairs.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do I just plumb water under the table? You know what I mean? And then just have water, and then just put in like an RV type toilet, something like that, and be done? Or do I do it right? And
you do it right, and you put the toilet in. Are you septic?
Yeah.
I'm septic, so
You need to find out where your septic tank is,
I know what my septic tank is.
Okay.
But it's
where the
But
input
the
to it is.
but I'm gonna probably want to have a separate septic system.
Oh, well, if you're going to have a separate septic system, you're going to want somebody who knows what they're doing to put that in. And you're going to need to, they're going to have to do a perk test in the area where you want it. Make sure it's good because that's required by law now.
Yeah.
Whereas my yard is not perked at all, and I have a septic system.
Yeah.
That's why I have water from 2 days ago when it rained, still sitting in my yard. It's horrible.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, because like here, you have to have your runoff lines from your septic tank have to be a certain distance from your well. Then you got to have it's according to if it's on the high side of the ground or the low side of the ground on your property and so on and so forth.
You're not on well water though, are you?
I've got well water, but
Who, me?
the shop is on the septic side, so not on the well water side.
Oh, okay. So you do actually have well water. So yeah, you got a lot more to worry about than I do because I'm on city water.
So that's why I'm thinking what I might end up doing is just under the table, just dig a trench, run PEX, connect up a single sink, have just like a gravel drain for the sink, and then just do like one of those RV toilets to just have something in there because it's going to be my second office. And if I'm in between, if I have back-to-back meetings and I'm working out in a shop that day, I don't have time to run into the house. But if I got something that I could use real quick occasionally, then I got, you know what I mean?
So where your shop's going to be, if it were me and I just had to pee, I'm going out to the woods. I'm sorry. That's just how I am because I grew up that way. I'm just going out to the trees.
Well, I know back in the early 90s, I helped a buddy of mine. He built a shop. We just made him a septic tank out of 2 55-gallon drums.
Really?
That's what my thought was, but I know that
but don't let nobody catch you these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you had 2 of them. You had rock, sand, everything, and one would once the water or the liquid level went to a certain height, it went into the other one. Then you had field lines going out. But he had city water. Now, if you got well water, me personally, I wouldn't do it.
So with having well water, what would happen if I just ran the piping and did just a sink and then did like a portable toilet that I dumped out manually from time to time? Would that be better? Because I'm not going to
that'd be fine.
It'd be cheaper and easier, yeah. But let me ask, where is your septic tank compared to where the bathroom's going to be in your shop? How far is it?
125 feet.
Why don't you just run
uphill or downhill?
Flat.
Downhill slightly.
Then you could probably just run a line and tee in to your main line going in. That's what they were going to do with mine.
But the problem is, what worries me is,
and my septic tank is uphill from my garage.
If I'm cleaning parts, if I'm using any sort of detergents, and I end up knocking out my regular septic, you know what I mean? Because then that gets really freaking expensive if you screw that up because of chemicals.
Well, the way I do that is I don't throw chemicals in my sink.
But that's my concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I don't actually have a sink in my garage. That would have been one of the things I would have done. Had I gotten that line run to the septic tank, I would have put a sink in my garage too downstairs. But that's easy.
Just saying around here, Pinks, a lot of people in this area, it's not that big deal around here. I'm way out in the damn country. They're like, say, sink drains like he's talking about, like we just using soap and so on and so forth. They just run a line out to the tree line because it's just soap and it's just water.
Just gray water. That's what I was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and you just run it off somewhere you can drain it off, and it's not going you know,
if you're
nobody
just
else's
doing that,
property or pissing nobody off.
Do rock and sand. Make yourself.
Yeah, you can do rock and sand.
Rock and sand works great for that.
I mean, hell, you could do the what is it? What's the
even
damn
illegal.
the French drains? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
French drain. Yeah.
you do a
That's
Yeah.
what I was
for
thinking
that. That's rock and sand. Is
Yes.
and that's totally legal to do.
Yeah, you can do that. You know, it's just what I understand. It's just a plastic tube with holes in it. And you put rock and sand, and you put it under the ground.
Hey Gary, how's it going?
Hey, Gary. But I think I just might do that and just do like
Yeah, the
it
portable.
seems like it. I mean, it's not worth spending an extra.
Use those
10,
those
15
van life
grand.
toilets.
Huh?
Those van life toilets, the little portable toilets, like you can buy, and they're actually pretty decent if you're, especially, you know. But like I said, if it were me, I'm just pissing outside. It's what I do. What I do if I had woods here, but I'm like a wide open backyard.
Right.
So.
No, they got full size ones, but if it's number 2, I ain't gonna have time to run back.
Well,
to the
yeah,
house.
if it's number 2, yeah, that's what you have that little RV toilet for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what that 5-gallon bucket's for if it's emergency.
Oh, we've done. That's what we've done in China. We had these big crates that we shipped everything in, and we turned one into a toilet. We cut a seat out, put a toilet seat on top of it, and put a bucket with a bag. You go, you take the bag with you when you leave.
I will say this: my wife would not sign off with that.
Well, we used to go fishing down here in Seminole, at the Seminole Lake down here, and you was on the boat way out in the middle of that place. You take a bucket with you.
Yeah.
Because you don't hang your ass on the edge of that boat with them big old crocodiles down there.
No. Big old crocodiles. Yeah, I'm not getting in that lake. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a chance to bite me in the ass.
Now that would be a funny story.
Not to me, it wouldn't.
Funny but painful. Oh my God.
So I was out fishing with this one guy, and his ass got bit when he was taking it.
Yeah.
Jump.
Well, I want to hear that from him. Well, he didn't make it.
That's what we
I was down there one year on my bass boat, bass fishing, and I kept hearing a baby alligator. I don't know. It was probably, I don't know, 12 inches. I don't know how long it was. I kept my eye on it 'cause I knew a mama was somewhere. And I kept fishing, and I was throwing the bait back and forth. And next thing I know, I thought, well, damn, that thing sounds like it's close. It doesn't climb in the back of my damn boat.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm beating the hell out of it because I wanted it out of there because I know that mama was coming to look for it.
Dangerous with super sharp teeth too.
Yeah.
We used to call my German Shepherd when she was a puppy. We called her an alligator because she'd be like chomp, 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 and had super sharp teeth when they're puppies. Oh my God. I have scars from my puppy when she was a puppy. They're bad. German Shepherds are one of the worst I've had to deal with. They're fun though. I loved her. I still do. She's sleeping probably in my bed where I sleep. Making sure it's all nice and hot when I get in. But
I've looked at those incinerating toilets. Those things are, I guess they're pricey, but they're what, $4,000?
the incinerating toilets. I've never seen those. I've never
Yeah,
looked into them.
I looked them up. I think they're like $4,000. So basically, it takes whatever waste that you have in there, and it superheats it, and then it turns it into a very small amount of ash that you eventually get rid of. But you know, it's kind of like
$4,000. I could get the plumbers to do the job to put in a real toilet.
well,
I agree.
but you wouldn't need to get the
Or
septic.
at least get it in close enough to where you can finish the rest of it for $4,000.
Yeah, he's
You
right.
wouldn't need the septic, and you wouldn't need the permit probably either.
Yeah. The whole adding a separate. I don't know why. How many bathrooms do you have in your house?
2.
So your septic system isn't big enough to add a third toilet when it's still only 2 people or 3 people using it.
Oh, it is. My septic is for a 4-bedroom house, and yeah, it's plenty big enough. I just don't want to connect because I don't want shop water getting into it.
Oh, I'm just talking the toilet. I'm not
Yeah.
talking anything else. Just the toilet.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
Is,
just run the toilet drain. That's
Is
all
the
you
septic
do.
tank got, is it 2 lids or 3 lids?
What, my tank? One lid.
It's got to
Yeah.
have 2 lids.
1 lid?
I've never seen a one.
Yeah,
lid
because the,
septic.
yeah, well, the bigger ones are 3 lids on it. And the medium size or small is a 2 lid.
Yeah, I've
No,
never
this
seen a
is
single.
this is a one lid. It's a concrete one, and
Yeah, they're all concrete.
yeah, my septic guy made it. It's one
One
lid.
lid. That's weird because I'm used to 2 lids minimum.
Yeah, because my right down the road on our property used to be my grandfather built a church for my grandmother, and my aunt owns that little piece right there, and she wanted to put a camper there, so I had to find it, and that thing's got 3 lids. When I had to call a guy to come tell me what was going on, and they just went anyway. They went super huge for a church, twice a week. See what I'm saying? It's still like a 5-bedroom house, something like that, with 8 kids. Because mine's only a 2 lid.
Yeah, mine is.
Yeah,
Mine's a
in
one.
1776 they stopped the whole single lid thing. Or 1976 they started. They went to 2 lids minimum.
I
just looked
Yeah.
it up.
I got a
That's
single
weird.
And I wish I could explain to you what that means as far as size, but I cannot remember.
Doesn't mean anything as far as size. They're different sides. You have 2 lids, a smaller lid and a large lid usually, and one is the water side and one is the solid side. What it's supposed to be if it doesn't overfill. When I got here, we have a 2 lid, and when we moved in, the septic tank probably hadn't ever. We couldn't find where it had ever been pumped out, and it was to the top. It was starting to back up. Same thing, same problem we had at our last house, but our last house wasn't on septic, it was sewer, and we just had a clogged pipe. But we had the problem here that we had at our old house. Right after we moved in, it started backing up, and they were supposed to pay to have the septic. They were supposed to have been done before we moved in. It was not. The damn thing was so full that luckily it's only 300.
Well, you got to understand the church down there with my grandfather and his family. One guy in the family at the time built septic tanks, so they built it on their own. But I had to take the top off. It's in great freaking shape for 59.
It's an old
when it was put
concrete
together.
too. Yeah.
Huh?
So they still make concretes, but some of the newer ones are they're not concrete anymore. They're plastic. They're pre-built. They come in, they drop them in. They're solid. They work really well, but the concrete ones are just as good.
Yeah, mine here is concrete, and I had to put it in
Same
96.
Ours is concrete. I don't know how old it is. It can't be any older than 68 when this house was built, which it probably is that old.
Mine does have 2 lids. I'm sorry. There's a screw-on lid that's by the house. It's about 2 feet, 3 feet from the house.
Yeah, a little small one, right?
Right, a small one, and then there's the big one that's out by the tank.
Yes, that's what I mean by 2 lid. One of them's mainly a clearing valve.
I thought you meant too big because
No.
there's only one.
Got to be two ingresses for them, and it's the side that's got the small one. They would never do the pumping on. They do that on the bigger side, but they do have that just in case they need to, and they can get a pump down in that smaller one and pump out that side if they have to.
Got it.
We have 2 lids here, and they're right behind our porch. Unfortunately, they poured a concrete porch behind our house, which covers up all our septic lines going out there.
Oh,
Yes.
sucks.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Previous owners.
So, in other words, if your septic goes bad, you're in so much freaking trouble.
I will go out there and break that concrete up myself.
Yeah.
I know where the line is. It's only the one line. I know where the line is. I could follow it and cut exactly what I needed to out.
Do you have room to have a repair field?
A repair field? You mean the
Yeah.
drain field?
No, repair. So if you needed, say your septic went bad, it's just bad. You got to have a repair area, which
Nope.
means that's where a new septic is being dug and put in.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of room to put a new one in.
Okay.
Plenty of room. It's a big backyard. It's a half an
Just
acre.
run a
I live
hose down to the creek.
Yeah. Run a hose down to the creek. Sounds good to me. My problem is the problem is putting a new septic in here. They would probably not permit it because we don't perk. Our land doesn't perk. So the old septics are grandfathered in, you know.
Yeah,
Although-
and that's the only reason it can stay there.
because my neighbor got one put in, but she got one put in that cost her like $8,000 to $10,000 like 5 years ago when it was cheap. Cost her between 8 and 10,000. I don't remember the exact number she told me to get hers that actually works, but it created so she's got her septic tank right up behind her house, but then she's got another tank, a holding area with a big mound of dirt way in the back of her lot. But she owns like 3 acres, so she has plenty of room.
Got the room.
What's up, T? How's it going?
All right. So you
Yeah,
guys just take portable toilet.
And the perk test depends on how long your runoff field lines are too.
Yeah, my runoff field lines are long, but let's just say that the water comes up sometimes because our land doesn't drain. So we have an area that stays wet constantly.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And it does suck, especially when I'm cutting the grass and I get stuck right there because it's so soft.
Yeah, if
Last
you build
year-
that up, it's gonna go back
last
towards the
summer-
damn house. So that sucks too.
Last
That is-
summer wasn't a problem because last summer it dried out and we didn't rain. We had a little drought for the summer and I was able to cut my grass no problem. This year it keeps raining and I can't cut my grass and my grass is getting like 6 inches tall now.
That ain't bad. I cut mine when it gets like 14.
I can't do that with my dogs. I don't need snakes out there.
I know.
Yeah.
It grows quick where I'm
I'm
at.
gonna have to get out there in the next couple of days if weather
take-
rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain it's not supposed to rain until like Thursday or Friday next week. Last I checked, and so hopefully I'll be able to cut it this week. But my God, it's so hard. My lawnmower is not that strong.
You think your dogs would chew on mothballs?
Yes, my dogs would eat them.
Oh, I was gonna say you could throw them out there in that deep grass. That'll help for a while. See you can cut it.
I have a German Shepherd and a Husky. They would both try and eat them, and it would probably kill them both. That's just my luck. I have some of the worst dogs for. They're great dogs. I love them, but they are horrible for certain things. Well, it's not even supposed to rain. It doesn't look like until like. Well, somebody's out firing guns right now. I just heard 6 shots.
We heard a bunch of that earlier today. We heard
That was a pistol, and I have no idea where. That was closer than down the road. There's a farm, and they shoot their guns during the day sometimes. But I just heard a pistol go off about 6 times, and it sounded like it
You might want to hit the floor.
not that direction. Might be what?
I said you might want to hit the floor.
Oh, it wasn't
Well,
coming this way.
if you open up your door and you see them dragging a body in, you know what happened.
I wouldn't be able to see it.
He was in the house when we shot him.
Mhm.
Well, that's what you're supposed to. Well, you're supposed to shoot him, leave him where he's at, and throw the TV on his chest.
Yeah, I ain't throwing my damn TV on his chest. You know how much that thing costs?
You don't have a small TV in one of your other rooms. Just throw it out on top of him.
I do not. Yes, I have smaller ones than this, but I still can't lift them up and throw them. They're 65 inches. That's my small TV.
Well, then grab
Stereo.
I don't know, grab a lamp and throw it on top of him. Say
I
you
got a
throw my
stereo.
damn lamp.
I could put a stereo in his face.
There you go.
Just lean him up against the TV.
No, I don't want to get blood on
Laptop. Throw a laptop out there.
I mean, this TV takes up half the wall. Look at that. It's huge. It's massive.
Just lean him up against the TV. The TV won't be injured. You'll be good.
Ah, hi, Blue. This is my evil dog. Come up here. Nope, you don't want to come up here. There she is.
Hey,
There's Blue. Now she comes up here. She's gonna come up here, bother me, and then go to sleep again.
yep. You get something to drink. Be right back.
She's a good dog, though. She is a very good dog most of the time. Except when she's howling. But she doesn't really bark much.
You probably got it because of the gunshots.
Maybe. I don't like fireworks. Well, she doesn't really care for loud noises. Don't bother her. But my German Shepherd, they bother her, so she made it working her up. Because my German is now in the kennel. My almost 90-pound German Shepherd is sitting in the kennel scared. But if you came in here and came at me or my wife, she would not be. It's crazy how much she changes. She becomes an attack dog. And she's mean. She can be. I would not want to be on the reciprocating end of her not playing. Because her teeth are still fairly sharp. But when she bites me, it's one of those half-hearted, I'm going to bite you, but not chomp down. Both of them do that. Like this one growls at me just when I'm petting her sometimes. Kind of like she purrs. But, hey, look, Mike's back. What'd you get, Mike? Whiskey?
I can't do none of that.
He's checking on the sick point.
Did you get some of this stuff?
No chocolate milk.
Ooh, that's hard on my stomach. I love chocolate milk. Oh, milk tears me up.
Milk works for me. Milk, water. That's pretty much all I can drink.
Yeah. Well, water. I do drink other stuff. In fact, probably.
All the other stuff I can't touch again.
Well, I'm going to touch until I can't anymore. But
I like what my wife drinks.
it's funny. What is your wife? So it's funny when I was younger, my stepdad had ulcers, and his doctors would tell him to drink milk to help soothe the pain and everything. I don't know how they didn't know back then that was like one of the worst things they could tell him to do.
Yep.
Because it creates so much more acid. It coats it and makes it feel good for a little while, but the acid it produces makes your ulcer worse. When they finally stopped doing that and they had that new medication came out like 10 or so years ago, where they found out that ulcers were a lot of times caused by viruses, and they had that new medication for him, his ulcers went away. After years of having them, they healed. It was kind of nice for him. Can't even enjoy ice cream. I am so sad. I have a nice cherry chocolate that I have sitting in the fridge that I'll probably have some of later. I ran out of my vanilla. I had some really good vanilla ice cream. I bought it because I had apple pie and I love vanilla, but then I'll eat it out of a cone or just by itself. I like vanilla ice cream a lot. But now I got that cherry chocolate again. It's real good. This dog is out. This dog is she laid there and just passed out. Done.
Yep. He's done.
The life of a dog, how hard it would be. I'll be right back. Gonna grab another drink. I'm just getting whiskey this time, so it's easier.
Tired.
So I got to figure out in the next couple weeks if my wife really wants to sell this house and try and find another place to live. The problem is the house she wanted to move to that would have been somewhat affordable for us. Just went on contract and is probably going to be sold before the end of the month. Which was a really nice house. Just never looked at it. But I've been looking at a couple. Found some nice ones around that I wouldn't mind moving to. None of them have the garage I'm used to, so I'd lose out on garage and would have to build a shed or a shop of some sort. But they all have room for it.
Yeah, I'd sell.
Because my dog just did a shot of heroin. I mean, what? Doesn't your dog?
If you can sell, then sell. It sounds like you're not too keen on your existing house, so
I'm not. And the yard's horrible. That fence we have to keep the dogs in cost us over $5,000 because we had to put in two 16-foot gates, which doubled the price of the fence, basically.
So
Because we had
what
we
did
have
you
a
put, like 80 grand in the house?
no, not quite that much, maybe 50.
It's a lot of cash.
It is, and that's why I have no money left.
My brother, he bought a house. He had it put. I mean, everything looked good, but then as he started to get into it, he 50
Like I
to
said,
70
I could
grand.
sell this house for more than I paid for it, but not much more. Like I'm losing money on it, no matter what, because I'm not getting back the money I put into it. Not right now. Not at this time. And right now, interest rates are kind of high. So if I have to buy another house, I'm looking
Oh,
at
that kind of screws you.
because I have a 3.5% interest rate. I'm not getting anywhere near that. I'm 6.5 minimum probably.
It's
And-
higher than that.
Then I won't do it. If I can't get 6.5 or lower, I won't do it even on a VA.
I'm on 6 with the VA, and that's with a 1.5.
Yeah. So if I can't get 6.5 or lower, I won't do it. So I'll look at if we get to the point where she really wants to sell, because they're getting ready to do some work in the living room and fix it up. Finally finish it, because we never finished it once we got the floor done. The edge of the walls and all that not done. We're doing wainscoting all the way around it and trimming it and doing it, painting all that. But I'm not doing it. She and Carolyn are doing that. Got to paint one of the rooms. We need to finish painting our bedroom where the TV is, so we got to take the TV down to finish it. And we need to paint the laundry room to where we had panels cut out to do plumbing. What I think she's forgetting is we also have a big hole in our kitchen that's covered by a painting right now where the electrical box used to be. Needs to be repaired. Problem is, it's not sheetrock; it's paneling.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mm.
and it doesn't have a sheetrock backing.
so the painting goes with the house.
No, it does
Yeah.
not. The painting is one of those. Me and her sitting on a dock with our dogs that are no longer with us, sitting next to us.
Well, just get another paint and swap it out real quick.
Yeah.
Family, you and I think the same.
Yeah, I did think that. I did think that, but I can't do that to somebody. I really can't.
I can't either. I can't screw someone
I'm
over.
too. But we've upgraded the plumbing. We've upgraded some of the electrical, not all of it. We didn't have all the wiring redone in the house. We've redone a lot. I've insulated the garage upstairs and down. I put a heat pump in there, so the garage upstairs and down is temp controlled, and it is which makes the upstairs living space. If I'd gotten that bathroom in, would have even been better. But that also increased the square footage of this house by 800.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that should run the price up some there.
Yes, it should. Although when they advertised it, they included that square footage, even though it wasn't living space at the time because it wasn't heated or cooled. It has to be heated and cooled along with the rest of the house. It
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah.
and it wasn't insulated. They had insulation up in the attic in bags. You know, the blow in. They had it up there,
Yeah.
but they were using it as storage, so they never put it in. Well, once they moved, they left that up there. I went and rented one of those. I got all the stuff. It was in the attic. Got it down to the garage floor, which is down 2 levels, and I did the blow in. I blew it in, and it stays nice in there. When I first moved in here, when it got hot, I could not stand going upstairs. It was too damn hot. The ceiling fans didn't do anything for it. And that little they had one of these little air conditioning units in the window, which couldn't even try and stop the heat. And that wasn't even on a hot day. That was like 80 degrees, no humidity.
So they had an AC up there.
Little teeny.
It's all you need to make it living space.
I know, but it didn't have heat. And in the wintertime, it got cold up there.
Yeah.
For me, it felt great. But yeah, the pool table stayed. If I move and I have a place big enough, the pool table's going with me. Not that hard to move. I'll pay somebody to move it. Fuck it. The hard part's getting it down.
I was going to say, getting it, because aren't the stairs not that, they're pretty narrow, right?
Yeah, but you take the legs off.
Is that pool table a slate pool table or just a?
It's a slate pool table.
Damn.
It's an 8-foot Oregon made in Oregon, old housing pool table. And it's a very nice.
Well, you couldn't pay me and 8 of my friends to get that son of a bitch down.
If you've seen Party at Mobs and his pool table, he has
a
very similar pool table. His is green, mine's red, and he's got a lighter toned wood, and mine's a little bit more ornate around it. But it's basically the same table. But it's they're both old.
To me, that son of a bitch should stay there.
Hell no. Well, that's what they did, but they made me pay for it. And I should have just thought about it, not paid for it, and seen them move it. They wouldn't have moved it. They would not have moved it. I should never have offered to pay for it.
How in the hell did they get it up there?
They had the people install it up there.
Piece by piece?
They brought it in. The top came up. I think they did it before they finished the upstairs. Back when they were I don't know. I've got a way to get it out. Trust me.
Yeah, cut a hole in the wall and shove it out.
No.
Cut a hole in the floor, it drops.
Yeah.
You cut a hole in the floor and lower it down.
If it wasn't slate, it'd be a different thing. But my God,
why would I want a pool table that wasn't slate? There's an extra beam holding up, or extra not beam, but
joist
or 6x6 downstairs underneath where the pool table is. So there's two that
I hope so.
Not far apart.
I hope so.
The rest of it's like almost there's none left of the rest of the area. There aren't anymore because they didn't need it in the normal because it's just regular weight. The pool table doesn't feel that heavy. I moved it about that far. Carefully
going downstairs.
It wouldn't be me doing it. I'd hire a company to do it. Yeah. There's a place up in Huntsville that does it.
But people don't want to work these days. See, so they're going to come over. You want us to move some further? Yeah, the slate pool table up there.
It's a company that does. That's what they do.
Down those stairs? Yeah, but the legs come off. I'll see you later.
This is a company that you hire that moves pool tables. That's what they do. And then they reset them up at the new place and level them and do all the work. I mean, they get it all nice and set up. It's a company that's what they do. That's
How
one
much
of.
do they charge? Like 800?
Huh?
What do they charge?
No, it's a little bit more than that.
1,000?
Yeah. Last I checked, it was. And now they don't do the moving part of it. They get it down and get it onto a truck for you. You got to move it yourself, but then they'll come and reset it up for you.
Okay.
But it's not too bad.
Well, I tell you what, I love to play pool.
It's an $8,000 pool table,
I love to play pool, but that son of a bee would stay there.
Yeah, well, it's an $8,000 pool table. I'd take it with me. I priced it.
What I do is put that on Marketplace and say for 6,500 and you get it out of here, you can have it.
No, because nobody'd do it. Not on market. That's it. Everybody says, can you deliver? Can you deliver? Even if you put
No,
letters,
no.
deliver,
They'd
you
be like,
must
my
pick up.
husband's got a bad back. Can you deliver it to our house? Well, I got a bad back too. I ain't moving it.
I have.
And if you don't, you're gonna have one in about 3 hours.
I know that, and I have done this in numerous ads. No delivery, local, no shipping, in bold letters. No shipping, no delivery. You must pick up. You must bring someone who can help you lift it. And all I get are, can you deliver? Can you help me load it?
Yeah, can you deliver?
Any of that. And I'm like,
or a woman shows up
I'm like, done. I don't even play
she's
the
expecting
game.
you to load it, and you're like, the fuck?
Nope. I am not loading. I've had people show up and expect me to load something that said that, even though it said, and I asked them, you got somebody coming to help you? And they're like, yeah. They get there with nobody to help them. Like, you need to get somebody to help you. And they're like, but I got the money. I don't care. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't care what kind of money you got.
Are you going to pay my doctor bills when I hurt my back more?
Yeah.
No, you aren't. So fuck off. Leave.
What was the old Sony back in the late 90s? The big old tube had the great picture.
Oh, what was that?
Big ass Sony TV.
Oh,
Triniton? No, what was it?
Sony Trinitrons, yes.
the Trinitrons, Panasonic,
Yeah.
pretty heavy too.
32.
I had one of those.
Yeah. I got one of those when I got. I mean, that was a beautiful picture back in the day. That thing is still sitting in the corner of one of my spare rooms,
300
and I've told everybody, if you'll just come get it and bring 3 people to pick that son bitch up, you can have it.
It weighs like 300.
My floor is probably sagging from that damn TV sitting there for the last 8 or 9 years.
Probably. Those things.
Yeah.
I remember my first big TV that I owned, that I bought. I was in the Army. I was out of the Army by then. It was a 24-inch, what they called a flat screen. It was a CRT, but they had made it with this weird front on it that made it look flat, so you couldn't see the curve in it.
Yeah, and 400 pounds on the back side.
It was a refractory glass. It was a Panasonic TV. The damn thing had a great picture, rivaled the Sony's.
Yeah.
It really did. It weighed like 300 freaking pounds. I swear.
Oh yeah,
It was so damn heavy. It was only a 24-inch TV too, and that was back
well,
then.
look,
Big TV though.
it was my ex-brother-in-law's TV. He told me at work one day. He said, "If you come get it, you can have it." So I called my son. I think he just got out of college or last year in college. He said, "I'll go over with you and help you get it." So I go over and get it. I bring it home. Well, he was living in Enterprise, which is 45 miles away. And that's why I'll get somebody to help me when I get it home. I got somebody to help me get it inside, but he had to leave. So I was trying to put it up on the entertainment center, right? All I can tell you is next thing I can tell you is I was laying on the floor, completely pale, and I was throwing up.
Nice.
I hurt my back so bad. And that's the only time I ever hurt my back that bad. You know, they say you hurt yourself really bad when you start throwing up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've done that before. So one thing I need to buy for my garage that I used to have at my old shop, or not my shop, but my old workplace, one of the hydraulic lift tables. Those things are great for moving shit like that. You get it over to where it is, you get it to the height, you slide it onto it, you lift it, lower it, you take it where you need, you lift it, you slide it onto where you want it, and you're good. Those things are awesome.
I've got one,
Yeah.
Harbor Freight one.
No, I want one better than the Harbor Freight ones, because we had the Harbor Freight ones at work and they were wobbly. I did not like them. The one we bought, the really nice one we bought, would lift like 5 times the weight that the best one Harbor Freight sells. And it was so rock steady at any height, like did not waver. It was big. It was a little bit wider, had a wider stance, didn't rock. The scissors were a lot tougher. It didn't move, because the Harbor Freight one sways a little bit when it's up. But this one was rock.
But it's not too bad.
Well,
I mean, we picked up.
No, for home use it'd be fine. It'd
For
be
home
fine.
use, yeah.
One,
So like picking up like our generator weighs 230
Oh,
pounds.
yeah.
I picked that up good.
no problem with the generator.
Okay.
Yeah, I was lifting stuff that was way heavier than that, though at work.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing was, I couldn't believe how solid it was and how easy it was to push, even with like 5,000 pounds on it. It just like easy because it had better rollers on it, But
Yeah.
they paid a lot of money for that thing, like a lot of money, probably a couple $1,000. But it was used for really, really heavy stuff. But it would be nice if you could get that cheap.
Yeah.
I think they overpriced the hell out of stuff like that. My poor dogs. They're so unloved. They're just, nobody loves them. They're not allowed to do anything. They're not allowed to be on the furniture. They're just helpless, poor things that get nothing. This thing is covered in her fur right now. It's also why we have blankets all over our couches. She's a good dog. She is definitely a good dog.
So I was tempted. So I got that new generator and that larger one with the little ones that I had that I did videos on. Those Westinghouses are complete crap. So I got the first one. It had issues and it wouldn't run right. So then I talked to Amazon. They said, no, keep this one. We'll ship you another one. Okay, cool. I started that one up. That one's good. We move. Now they're both bad.
Oh.
So you start it up and then you go from choke to run and it immediately dies. So I took
Which
took it
generator
apart.
was it?
Westinghouse.
What size?
Like 3,500 watts, 3,700 watts.
I'm just looking one up.
So
I think I've seen your generator. Your generator. Is it the blue ones?
the blue ones, yeah. So then I started to take it apart and took the carb off, rebuilt the carburetor, put it back on, made sure that everything was good. Actually opened up the main jet a little bit and the holes in the emulsion tube, opened those up slightly and just tried to make sure it had enough fuel because it seemed like it would get lean as you're taking a choke off. Still didn't do a damn thing. So I'm playing with this thing. I got pissed off and then I just kind of threw it in a corner. But what my thought was, and this is a horrible thought, is to record a YouTube video. Yes, that is it.
Okay.
And I was going to record a YouTube video of taking that generator and putting it into my burn pile and say, this is what I think of Westinghouse.
Yeah, Westinghouse doesn't make you realize Westinghouse is just a name now. It's not.
It's just a name. It's all China.
Not the kind. They sold the IP
Yeah.
many years ago. Same with Kodak, or not Kodak, but maybe it might be Kodak. So a lot of the Kodak stuff isn't actually Kodak anymore. But I don't think they sold it. I think they leased their name to other people. Westinghouse was one. There's another generator that I've seen that it's not the original name. It's not made by that company. It's made by some Chinese company, but they own the name now. And I don't remember what it is, but
Yeah, imagine that.
yeah, it's it's very similar to the one I own. Does it have a remote control starter for it?
No.
Okay. Mine does. It's different from the one I own. Then that's good.
So, how much trouble would you get into that you have a big fire in your backyard and you throw a generator in it?
I don't know. Has it got any fuel in it?
I guess I could say this has no fuel in it.
Plastic. You're not allowed to burn plastic, though. You're not supposed to burn plastic. You get in trouble for that. If they really want to push it. Otherwise, I've seen people do so much shit on the internet and not get in trouble for it, so I don't care. You do what you want.
Well, that's all right. Just put a ski mask on. don't film no part of your house.
It's at
You
his.
just
It's
chunk
on
the
his
son of a bitch
It's on
on
my
there.
YouTube channel.
It's
I
his-
guess I could shoot it. Shooting it would be fun.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm trying to
blow it
remember
up.
and my generator is, and I cannot remember what it is. I don't remember what I have, but I bought one. It's small. It's that size. It's mine's I
Right.
think 4,000 watt. It's got wheels, a little handle that pulls out in the front. You carry it around.
Yes.
It's an inverter.
That's how mine
Fairly
is.
quiet. It's fairly quiet. It's got an echo mode.
Yep.
I used it with my old, it was great with my old trailer because it had a place for me to put it in the trailer at a generator door.
Does it have the choke to where it goes from choke to run?
No, it's all fully automatic because it's got a remote. As long as it's turned on, I have a remote I can start it with.
See, mine doesn't have the remote, and you gotta manually move it over, and there's some issue with it.
Never had to do any of that crap. Let's see.
Right.
I think I bought that in 2020, maybe 2021. Reason
I'll see if I can get one of these damn things working. I got the big generator came in. I unboxed and did a video. I haven't put it out yet, but I still
Yeah.
gotta put it together.
I made most of my purchases in 21. It looks like. See if I can find it out. I'm just kind of curious as to which one I own right now, and since it's out in my storage shed, I don't feel like going out there to look. You know,
Yeah.
is that it? It's labeled a Cummins. I know it's not a Cummins, but it's a Cummins P4500i 3700 watt run, 4500 watt peak. Let's see if it cost a little bit more than yours did with shipping. It was about $1,100.
Yeah, mine is the 3700
Yours is,
XLT.
it's $700 on Amazon right now.
Yes.
Let's see if I can find this one on just Google here. Come on.
I'll put the one in here that I have.
Yeah, it didn't look like a bad one. All right, okay, it cost, well, no, it costs about the same still. Doesn't look like it's gone up in price. Why is my phone being so slow on everything? Wow. Here we are. Yeah, so that's the one I have.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the next size up. That's the bigger one. Yeah.
This is a really nice one. And
mine
for
are junk.
the $1,100 I paid for it, it has done me really well. It's out in my storage shed right now because I haven't used it on this trailer because it has the batteries. But I always thought that if I wanted to use my portable air conditioner in there to keep it cool inside, I'd take this with me to power it. It's not big. It's a little heavy. I mean, I can lift it, move it because I had to put it away. But it's got that nice little handle in the front you can pull out and pull it around. And yeah, it's a great little generator. I don't remember who makes it, but it's labeled a Cummins Onan generator, which that's if you know who Onan is.
Yep.
They make really good
Onan
generators.
makes very good stuff.
They're usually driven by Cummins diesels, but this is just a branded. It's branded. It's licensed by them. It's a I looked it up. It's totally legally licensed by them. So I guess they have somewhat of a they have to reach a certain standard at least, But I got it for a really good price. So $1,100 wasn't bad. And I bought that back in 2021. And it's still apparently the same price, but it's like $1,100-$1,200 now before shipping. It's a 7.3 horsepower overhead valve OHV 4-stroke. It's quiet as hell. It runs it says it'll run 18 hours, 5% load. I've run that thing for like 3 days at the track without ever putting fuel in it. And it was running at full load because I had a bunch of shit running. It was running more than 25%. I know that because I was looking at the gauge on it, and it has a digital gauge, and you can go through and see your average. and it's quiet. That's one thing I really like. I put it in echo mode no matter what, because even in echo mode, it will kick up as high as it needs to get to whatever it needs to that 3,700 watt. And then 4,500 peak if you ever really pull that much. I don't think I ever pulled anywhere close to that. Yeah, it says 50% load. It'll run for 15 hours. It's a automatic choke. Doesn't have GFCI outlets, but it does have, I think, a 30 amp outlet. Let's see, what is it?
Damn.
So you get
15 hours.
you have 120 volt, 5 volt, and it's got a 5 volt DC out too, so a little USB. And you can parallel them. They make a cable. You can buy 2 of them and plug them together. Battery included. Yeah, it came with a battery, so it's got a manual start or auto start, so I don't have to pull. It does have a backup pull cord, so if the battery's dead, I can pull it start. And I tested it. It works great. It's like a 1 pull start.
Very nice.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't see it showing what the outlets are. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so it's got one 30 amp, 120 volt outlet, which is a TTR 30R, and then it's got a duplex 120 20 volt out or 20 amp outlet, and then 2 5 volt USB ports. So I mean, it fit the bill for what I needed. So
Makes sense.
I was happy with it, and then I have a much bigger one. I have the 9500 non-inverter style from Harbor Freight, which I got for less than half of what they want for their inverter style one now.
How'd you like it?
I've never used it. Never had a
Why?
need.
Huh. Okay.
I've never had a need to hook it up because I haven't lost power that long.
Yeah, I got the generator, and then I have 2 electric power backups, one to cover the fridge and one to cover a small AC.
Right.
So I don't have to run the gen at night.
There's a bigger picture of the front outputs on it. So you
Oh,
got
yeah, it
your
says Cummins on it too.
you got your DC out there, and then your 120s are your duplex, and then the big 30 amper.
What did you pay for yours?
Total was $1,106, I believe, with shipping, because I had to pay like $105 for shipping.
Ain't bad.
No, it wasn't. Well, I can look it up right here. I got my. I paid $100. Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't have to pay. I got free shipping. It was $107 in taxes, because it was $1,049, $107 in taxes in Washington State, so it was $1,156 total. And I bought that from a place called Factory Pure. I don't even know if they even exist anymore. It's one of those, like, yep, they're still there. And I just pulled up my order information. I don't need to show that.
Yeah, go ahead. It'll be all right.
But I just looked it up on Google, and there's a bunch of places that sell it for about the same price. So, see, they may not be selling it for the same price. I don't know. It has been 2 years since I bought it. It was, when did I buy that? My email will tell me better because it'll have a date on it. That was February of 2021. So it's been over 2 years. Bought that right after my birthday. That was the first generator I'd ever bought. Never bought one before that. But it was for my trailer, so. Oh, God, I missed that trailer so bad. Yes, I like the $30,000, $30,000 plus I sold it for, but still miss it. Because half that money went to the trailer I have now, and the rest of it just went to this house. Basically, the house and daily bills. But yeah, bigger trailer was nice, but it had a 29 gallon Husky. I think it was a Husky, or air compressor upstairs, plumbed in. It was really nice to have. Hey, have a good night, Gary.
Have a good one, Gary.
We've been going here almost 2 hours. I guess I'll give this another 10 minutes. I'll cut it off at 10:45-ish.
I was looking up on my generator.
Yeah.
Other people having the exact same problem.
Yeah, it sounds like an issue.
And I see another guy had taken apart the carburetor as well to see if he could figure it out. So
And he couldn't either.
he couldn't either.
I think it's not something you can fix with design.
Yeah, but that's
And in this day and age, that sucks. How you make a design that bad? There's so much stuff that's you could just copy for free legally. That works.
right.
I mean, all you have to, and it's probably just poor manufacturing process. Which would just take way too much work to fix.
Can y'all hear that train?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
You want to mute it?
Nah, I don't care.
Nah.
I got a train I can hear here too. It's not that close, but you got the big Westinghouse, Victor, and it's probably built by a different company. In fact, it looks very much like the Predator that I have from Harbor Freight. So, I mean, it looks a lot like the one I have from Harbor Freight, just a different color. It's probably made by the same company in China.
China.
But if it works, it works. So I've gotten used to getting stuff. Yes, I would love to go back to having more U.S. manufacturers. The problem is it's not going to happen because for one, now
No.
people who want to work, and we don't have trained, skilled laborers like we used to. America used to do some of the best shit, but we don't anymore. And I'm so sorry we don't. But it's just a change in the way people have gotten because we moved all the manufacturing away, so people didn't go for those jobs anymore.
Ooh,
Yep.
Lowe's.
I just found something interesting.
Yeah.
One guy said that that he noticed that the fuel line was getting kinked, and he replaced it with a different fuel line.
Well, that'd be an easy fix.
That would be.
Replace it with a heavier nice rubber fuel line.
Yeah. That could be why it only runs in choke.
Could be. It's not getting enough fuel easily fed to it. Who knows?
Because I took the carburetor apart, I adjusted, gave it more float drop, so that way I could get more fuel. I took the main jet, I opened it up slightly, I cleaned out the emulsion tube, I opened it up, I'm like, the fuck is wrong
But you
with
didn't
this?
fix the main fuel line. Is it one of those clear, like really thin fuel lines that can suck itself in?
Yeah.
I've had that problem in cars before with bad fuel lines where they would like close on themselves. Hey, Brailsford Street Fox, how's it going?
It's like
Welcome to chat.
inch line.
On the panel, you're more than welcome to. I got 10 spots. And I just paid.
Damn, is the bus driver is still up this late?
I thought you were the bus driver's ear, weren't you?
I can get something to drink again. Right back.
Oh, you're at the campground. Okay. Well, hey, have fun camping. Enjoy the family time. And I'm guessing if you're about to hit the hay, your camper's not working anymore. You're having to sleep out in the hay bales. Okay. Oh, I've been watching his camper videos. He had another issue with it. Oh,
yeah, I did too. I didn't know them toilets had a damn rubber seal instead of a wax seal.
Yeah, they do in campers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, sometimes they go bad. and sometimes they go bad real early. And it's nice when and that's only in newer ones that I know of, because in the old ones they used to use the wax. The rubber thing's new.
Right. Well, I put in many of toilets at work, but I didn't know that the campers had a rubber
Oh,
one.
nice! You get 2 free nights for your Christmas. I saw that picture for the Christmas in July. You came prepared. So I will say I miss camping with my family, but I don't. We used to go camping. We didn't go camping in parks most of the time. If it was a park, it was because we were parked there for fishing the next day in the boat with the boat. Yeah, the plastic flange is a POS. You are correct.
There's so many
Yeah.
problems with the different trailers. I've had a couple. You have to worry about the tanks dropping
Yeah.
because they have cheap straps holding the tanks up. All the paneling gets loose and everything starts, all the laminate and everything starts coming apart. What else? We had electrical problems to where it kept on popping breakers for just plugging stuff in.
No.
Yeah, it's all, and then the roof leaking. You got to go up every spring,
Oh, yeah.
every fall to reseal the damn thing with the
I need to-
self-leveling caulk.
I'm actually surprised the roof does not leak on my trailer. And it's a walking roof. It's really nice because it's a walking roof on this trailer. It's a 1998 or 99. I don't remember the date. But I can't believe that it doesn't leak. I mean, I can tell where they've added something like the antenna for the radio and stuff, and the power for the solar panels where they added. They did a really nice caulking job around that. But yeah, it doesn't leak. It's got a couple of spots that it may have leaked at one time, but whoever resealed it did a good job.
Is it a rubber roof or no?
No. No,
Rubber
it's
roofs you have to worry about.
not.
Those are
Okay.
a pain in the ass.
Now looks like an aluminum roof with
That's nice.
which is one of the few things that's aluminum thing. It might actually be wood with the aluminum sheet on it.
Cheesing on it, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like everything else on it is. But like the inside walls are actually just it's wallpapered paneling. It's like really thin panel wood with a wallpaper that's glued to it, a textured white wallpaper. And I only know that because I've taken it apart a few times to fix some wiring and fix some other things. Now the front cabinets used to be that wood with the aluminum on both sides, but now it's just wood with paint on it on the outside. On the inside, it's not painted because I looked up that paneled the plywood with the aluminum, and the cost they wanted for it was not worth my time. Have a good
one, Matt.
Yeah, I was kind of been looking forward to his Tuesday Night Lives. I mean, I skipped mine for a couple of weeks too, and then I did one not this week. I did a decent, like a 2 hour, but like 2 weeks ago, I did like 1 hour and just dropped it. It was like, and this one is just I was bored Saturday night. I wasn't supposed to be home. My plan was to be at the drag strip tonight, but I got the trailer fixed. I got my car loaded. I was going to have to swap my tires on the car at the track. No big deal. That's pretty easy. I had everything to do it in the trailer. Had everything loaded up. And I got to the point where it was time to go get the ice in my cooler and get some cash out of the ATM, and started feeling like crap from lunch. And I was just like, I'm not going.
Oh, I thought maybe you didn't go because it started raining. It was flooding here.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that yesterday. It rained pretty good yesterday, so they canceled the TNT. But today it's been nice. It's been real nice all day. And it's not supposed to rain again for at least another week, but I don't believe it that it's going to stay dry for that long.
I don't believe it neither.
This summer's been killing me. Last summer we had so much dry weather, it was great. We had I had a dry yard. I could cut the grass I didn't have to cut it after a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Because it was probably trying to die on you.
It was trying. Oh no, our yard stayed green the whole year. We have a basically underground water in our yard. It doesn't fully dry out. I think we have a little creek running under our yard, and it doesn't help when they put that substation in and raise the ground up. It's about 2-3 feet higher than everything else. All the water in that rock runs out into our yard. Doesn't run into our neighbor's yards, just ours. So I think I need to call TVA and tell them they need to fix that shit. Because they got money and they're fucking up my yard.
Who's TVA?
Tennessee Valley Authority.
Ah,
They're the ones that have all the dams on the river that make all the power around here.
I thought you were in Alabama.
I am in Alabama. TVA runs through Alabama.
Huh.
It's Tennessee River, basically.
Huh?
It doesn't just run through Tennessee.
Yeah. Call them and tell them.
Yeah, I need to do that, because for one, I didn't even think I saw the power lines. I knew they were there when I bought this house. I didn't realize how close they were, that I had no room, because not only are those the power lines, the first ones, which are Alabama Power, the next lines behind that are TVA Power, which they own the substation, but their lines are at least straight up and down. They're one, top and bottom, whereas the Alabama ones are spread and they're wide, 3 wide.
Yeah.
There is no room in my backyard where I could build anything without being under the power lines.
So you got the high tension, those big, like,
Not the big ones. You're thinking on the metal ones?
yeah.
Like on the little towers? No, not quite that big. We're the one step lower than that.
It's still.
Those are the 150 Ks. These are like the 50 Ks. But we have 2 sets of them. And I didn't realize there were 2 sets of them. So I thought that I'd be able to build in the back of my yard, build a shop back there. I thought I would be able to. The ground wouldn't support it because of how wet it stays, because there's a creek running under it. And then I've got power lines overhead. I thought I only saw the 3. I didn't pay enough attention. This is my fault. It's all my fault. I didn't look well enough. I should have seen that. I should have seen that substation and just said no to this place, is what I should have done. But I was in a hurry at the time. I was freaking out. I just started a new job. Just moved to a new area. We were staying in an Airbnb that we were running out of time at because they had another rental coming up and we had to leave. And so I was a little freaked out. So, I jumped at this place and took it when I shouldn't have. I kind of put myself in the position and I got fucked over. So nobody to blame but me. I could have lived out of my trailer, except it was full, completely full. There was no room in it. It had so much of my stuff in there. We had the lift up, so the upstairs was full too, because the lift was solid across. It didn't have holes in the middle. It was a solid floor. So we had an upstairs and downstairs, and that trailer was full, at least full to the point of where it would still be low enough weight for me to trailer it. It was a little over what the rating on my truck was, because it was 24,000 and I was running 26,000 pounds in that trailer. But originally when I loaded it and went and weighed it, it was over 32,000 or 30. Well, it was 36,000, I think. We had to take about 10,000 pounds out of it.
So I looked up the interest rates for Alabama. It's 7.6%.
Well, that ain't happening. That's Alabama. I'm probably going to get my loan somewhere outside of the state, like I usually do. My last loan didn't come from this state.
Where'd you get it from?
Who did I go through? God, you had to ask. Well, I went through the same company I went through before, which is based out of another state, and it's not. God, I can't think of the name of it because they instantly, like within a month, transferred me off to a different company.
The
But
last one I got years ago was
I'm
Tennessee.
pretty sure I got it through USAA. I'm pretty sure I did it through USAA, like I did my previous house. And I got a 3.5% when the rates around here were like 5%. And yeah, that I did it. I did it through USAA, but now it's through Mr. Cooper, which is another bank entirely. I can't. They just have that name, Mr. Cooper, for the website. I don't ever go there anymore because it's an auto pay and I don't have to deal with it.
So USAA, if you do VA loan with 1 point, it's 6.1%.
Okay, see that I could do. That I could do. 6.1 I'd do. That's like the highest. So before that, the highest I've ever been was 5.5, 5.5%. It was my highest loan ever before, and I got that down to a 3.25 within 6 months.
Now, you doing a 30-year or you got like a
30.
15?
I was been doing 30s. I can't afford 15. I don't make that much money anymore.
Yeah.
And I have a car payment.
Which one? Oh, the
The
GT,
Edge.
right?
The 2023 Edge that cost me like $700 a month, not including.
That's the wifey's car?
Yeah, the one that's still at the shop. We got it back for like 2 days. When she realized it had a noise it was making that she didn't like, and she took it back to the collision place. They replaced the hub on the front passenger side, and it didn't make the noise go away. So now it's at the dealership because they took it to Ford to figure it out. They were supposed to have an appointment on the 19th, and we still haven't fucking heard from her. She called him yesterday and nothing yet. I'm like, well, call goddamn Ford. They probably haven't even fucking looked at it because they're lazy ass little bitches. What's up, Motorhead?
Maybe you can get them to take the damn thing back.
Extreme Trout went on a Jeep trip this morning. I hope you had fun. I don't have a Jeep, so I can't do that. Take it back. They won't take it back. The problem happened because we hit a deer.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we hit a deer. Had it been, if this were problems with the car itself, yeah, it would be gone, and I'd eliminate it in a heartbeat. Trust me, because I can't afford the payments. I really can't.
Yeah, I forgot you said that before.
They were more than I expected them to be. I thought I could afford it, but then we went through the money we had way quicker than we should have because of other issues. Because I had a lot of money in my account at the time, but I don't anymore. And then on top of the payment, there's also insurance, which that's the one car that has to have full coverage. I mean, I used to have full coverage on all my cars except for the Focus, and I can't afford that anymore because my insurance.
Well, I agree with that.
The insurance costs are so fucking ridiculous. The Jeep Comanche with a V8 on my. Oh man, I had found a Grand Cherokee a couple years ago with a V8 in it that I really, really wanted because I had another V8 I was going to throw in it, and I would love to have it. Yeah, the Ranger Raptor 60K. I don't think so. It's not that good. It's funny though when you think about it. The new Rangers and the new small trucks are the same size as the late 90s full-size trucks. Early 2000s even. But now the full-size trucks are huge. But according to a lot of stuff I've been reading and seeing on YouTube, that in the next couple of years, there's probably going to be some government regulations and trucks are going to have to get smaller. Even though the reason trucks have gotten so big is because CAFE regulations. for fuel mileage bullshit. That's why we don't have small trucks anymore. Because small trucks, like the old Ranger, the old what was it? The
Nissans and Toyotas.
the Nissans, Toyotas. That I love those trucks. I wish they would bring those back, but they can't because they can't make. Because as small as they were, their fuel economy would have to be like 50 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
It would be. It would have to be. I saw the chart. I watched a video on this. Why we don't have the small trucks anymore. I love the B 3500, 2000 Mazda, which was basically Ranger. And then the Nissans, those were cool. The little Nissan trucks were cool. And then what was the S10, the old S10,
I had an 85 Toyota.
Chevy.
I love that son of a gun.
If trucks were smaller, then how would they load stuff? A lot of those smaller trucks still had 8-foot beds in them. They were smaller, but they had long beds. They didn't have those little teeny beds that they have now on these F-150s that have a bed that's this fucking long. What good is that? It's not a fucking truck. Get a goddamn SUV. I mean, seriously, it just irritates me. A 5-foot bed is not a bed. Get a goddamn SUV and get rid of the truck. If you want a truck, I've always had 8-foot beds, as many as I could, except for my Silverado. It was a 6.5 foot, and that was just because it was such a good deal. I couldn't pass it up. But yeah, my truck now has an 8-foot bed. I love it. It's 8 foot 3 inch. It's great.
I got a 6.5 on mine.
I don't like yours. I kid.
But it's a pretty big truck.
Pinks, I don't understand why you don't tell us how you really feel. Quit holding back.
I've been drinking. I'm gonna tell everybody. If you can't put a sheet of plywood in it and close the gate, you ain't got a big truck. I don't need it to be tall. In fact, I don't need my truck to be as tall as it is. In fact, it's a little too high because I have trouble getting in the bed.
I have trouble getting mine in mine standard height.
Oh my God, mine's stock height, but it's an F-450, so it's tall. I saw one today on a short. It was it's I think a year newer than mine. It's a 22 F-450 Platinum. It was black and it was beautiful. It had some great wheels on it, and so it had wider tires, but it was on hydraulics, and it went. It was like, damn. It's like I need that, but its lower end was like stock height, and then it lifted it up. And I was like, no, I need one of those that lowers it down so I can get in it easier.
So that brings up something I was thinking about today. All right, so I'm at the gas station getting fuel, and I'm fueling up, and I had to go into the bed because I had to fill up, gas tanks as well. And it's hard for me getting in and out because you're on your knees and you're trying to, get into bed to get the gas tanks. And then I see an older man who he has his truck, and it's a nicer truck, but he's like 10 years older than me, and he's just kind of struggling to put fuel in and struggling to walk. And it made me think of something. The young kids have health, but they usually don't have the ability to get any of the fun stuff. Yeah. But then as you get older, you start to get money, but then you don't have the health to be able to enjoy any of the shit.
No shit. Youth is wasted on the young. I've said that over and over. Youth is wasted on the young.
Man, it's kind of cruel because it's like, and you see someone who's in their 70s and they have all this money and they have this and that, and they'd be like, I'll trade it all for your health.
No shit. I want to be Benjamin Button. I want to die as a baby and start as an old man and get healthier as I get older. So as I learn, I want to get stronger. That would be awesome. It's just kind of fun.
And make the money as you go down too.
So my wife, or not my wife, my dad had told me that a long time ago when I was a kid. He's like, youth is wasted on the young. And he was saying it because I had done something stupid. And he had just done something that hurt his back while he was doing it. And when I say stupid, it wasn't bad stupid, it was something stupid, you know, in the garage or whatever at his house. And he's like, youth is wasted on the young, as he's sitting there trying to stand up straight.
Yep.
And I at the time, no idea what he meant. Really, no idea. I was probably 12, 13 years old. But now it rings so true. I'm like,
Yep.
I have so much trouble getting up and doing it. Just standing for a little while hurts so much. Like I was working on my transmission last night when I was in a Funky's chat, and I was in so much pain from just standing there doing stuff in one spot. I couldn't believe. That's why I get tired. Just came in here and sat down. It just hurts to stand there.
Oh, I agree. My
If
back's hurting now, and I don't even know what the hell I did.
I got up this morning. That's what I did.
Yeah, you got up. That's what did it.
So I told everybody last night, including my dogs, I said, I'm going to sleep in this morning. They all laughed at me, I guess, because they all woke me up this morning at like 5 o'clock. The dogs. I actually stayed in bed until about 8, but I was awake for much of that time because the dogs kept waking me up, and so did my wife.
Kick them all out of the room.
It doesn't matter.
Close the door.
I can't.
That don't matter.
Get up. My wife gets to sleep in until like 6:30 every day. You know, that's sleeping in for her because she's got to take care of the dogs. As soon as I leave for work, and then the dogs are on her about, you know, breakfast. You know, they want their food because they only get fed twice a day, and they don't get a lot. I'm surprised they aren't like I can't believe that 2 cups of food a day keep these dogs alive, but it keeps them heavy. If they get any more than that, they get fat.
So
Yeah, you
Extreme
can
Trout
overfeed
has
the dog easy.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it
very
just, to
easy.
me, that doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah.
So Extreme Trout said, anybody like Datsun 510s? I'm not familiar with the 510. I used to have
We had a 310.
B210s. I had 2 of them.
Is the 510 is the 5-door, right? Or the 4-door car? Because we had the 310, and it was a 3-door, basically.
I had the 210. It was 2-door.
Yeah, so not a hatchback.
No.
Yeah, so we had the 310, which was a hatchback, and that was my mom's car. And I'm the one that ended up getting that car demolished when a cop ran into me and then tried to blame it on me. And I'm like, you hit me. I didn't hit you. You rear-ended me.
It's a cool looking car. So it's a 4-door. All right.
Okay, I'm not used to the little 4-doors. You just look one up.
Yeah, I just looked one up. Yeah, it's a good
Oh,
looking
they had
car.
a 2-door version of it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
2-door was the 210. That's what I had.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with a 510, but I didn't know a 510 could have 2 doors. I wouldn't think it could.
Huh?
But who knows? It's Datsun. I miss my old 79 280. So
280Z was a nice vehicle.
I just posted that short of the 75 I saw, and the 75 was the same color as my old 280, and it just it gave me the feels, man, because I missed that car. I had that car in Hawaii, and I didn't have it for long because it had a hole in a piston in that I think that had a straight 6 in it. And it had a hole in one of the pistons. It was about the size of a quarter, and I couldn't believe it ran. But it did until it warmed up. Once it warmed up, it lost all power.
Nice. So
but I could drive it. I could drive it for about 10 miles before it would lose power.
So my wife greenlit me getting another Mustang. She said before you get a third Mustang, it's papers. So I've got 2. So she said I can get a third Mustang if it's a classic. So I got to get a classic to get a third Mustang. And I know exactly what I'm going to do when I get it. Pull the motor out, put in a mod motor.
So you're looking like a When you say classic, up to what year?
Has to be
79?
60s. Has to be 60s or 70s.
Okay, so 79. That's a Mustang too, though.
I don't think she'd go for a Mustang.
69 fastback.
How about a 71 Mach 1?
It's got to be something cheap that I can get.
Then not a 71. How are you going to find anything from 73 and earlier cheap?
Isn't there anything cheap that's got like a 6 in it that I can pull out and
No.
put a floor out?
No, that because of the body. If the body's in decent shape, they're charging ridiculous amounts for them.
COVID
Yeah,
sucks.
just for a roller is gonna cost you at the ass.
I know it's crazy what those things cost now for original bodies.
COVID sucks. Everything was cheap.
No, it
before.
wasn't even. This was before COVID. They started going up.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with COVID.
Yeah, that started happening about 10 years ago. When
Yeah.
they started getting more and more scarce. I had found in Washington State, I had found a Mach 1 in 1970 or 71, might have been 72. I don't remember. Mach 1 body. Didn't even have wheels or axles on it. Was half rusted out, and they wanted $10,000 for it. Oh, hi. Can I help you with something?
I found a baby blue 1958 Plymouth Fury for 14,000.
Well, that's a Plymouth Fury.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Dude, that's Christine. Come on now.
Okay, if it's pristine, the Furies weren't bad, but it wasn't Plymouth. So, although I
Dude,
will
you
say
can pull
Plymouth
up
had
to
some
a car
badass
show in
cars.
Christine.
Plymouth had some badass cars. Okay, they did. I do miss some of their old cars.
If I'm going to get something old, it's got to be cool. Now, the Fury is slow as hell, but, you know.
Now, if you put a big block in it, it's not.
I would look for something that is old, 60s, 70s. That's maybe
nobody
they didn't think it was super cool back then, but you can make it cool.
Well, that's
What
like
about
the,
How
the
much are
Comet
cars?
that, that Ford Blue has. Comet, you wouldn't think of a Comet.
Oh, I
But
love
then when
that.
he showed it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
What
Yeah.
about a Dart? Darts are unfortunately expensive now, aren't they?
Darts are probably expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the old square bodies?
What about like a Fairlane?
Oh, I do like a Fairlane. A Fairlane wagon. Oh, if you could find a
Yeah.
Fairlane wagon.
Oh hell yeah.
Good luck finding it though, for less than like, 50K. Oh, I would love a Fairlane wagon.
Well,
I
it's
wonder
Gordon
what
if you want to
Cougar-
build it or buy it when it's already built.
I don't want to build one. I want one that I can build, but I don't have the time and energy for it. But damn, a Fairlane wagon is a hard find.
I like the Cougars with those vertical grills on them.
Yeah,
The old Cougars.
yeah, those are nice. I'd like an old Monte Carlo too, but
So everything's going to be expensive.
pretty much anything early 70s and earlier is expensive. Unless it's grandma's car that you can't even make cool. I mean, seriously.
Olds 88.
Hey, those are cool, damn it. I had one. I loved my 88. I really did because it ran great and it was a great car for the gas prices at the time.
So I wonder if my wife would give me shit if I got a Mercury Marauder. Technically, it's
Ooh.
not a Ford Mustang, even though it has a Mustang motor.
It's a Marauder. That's a Crown Victoria. Come on, you know it is.
It's pitch black. That thing is awesome.
Oh, I love the Marauders. Put a
Ah.
turbo in it. Oh,
So it's got
Neat.
so the Marauder's got the 4-valve mod motor, whereas the Crown
Uh-huh.
Vics had the 2-valve.
the 2 and the 3. I think they had a couple of 3 valves in the Crown Vics too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. What year are you looking at though?
I don't know, 60s, 70s is
Oh,
really
you're
what I
looking
want.
at an old Marauder. Whew.
No. I mean, the newer Marauders would be nice. No, but I'm saying in general, I'm looking for a car from the 60s and 70s.
Victor says the 71 to 73 Cougars aren't too expensive.
Um,
That's because they had bad body lines in 71 to 73. There's a reason they're cheaper. Look at a Cougar from 71.
Oh, that's
Tell me why.
ugly.
Huh?
Jeez, that's ugly. That looks like a Grand Prix.
Uh-huh. They got ugly. That's why they're cheaper.
Oh, fuck, that's ugly.
I'm trying to.
I'm sorry,
That's
Victor.
the thing is
I would
is
love to say yes to that, but
anything in that era, if it's going to be cheap, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's a
oh,
because
that
they're
thing's
ugly.
freaking hideous.
I'm not worried about what engine came in it or any of that or the interior or anything. It's because they're ugly.
It
It's
looks
ugly.
it looks like a Lincoln Town car, kind of.
Kind of.
And a Grand Prix had a beam, and you put a scoop on the top for some reason.
You're talking the old Grand Prix, right?
The old Grand Prix, yeah.
So when I graduated high school, I thought for sure my dad was going to buy me a car like he had all my sisters, right? And all my siblings before me for graduation. And the car I had picked out was a 1989 Grand Prix. At the time, I would have been happy with it because it was an awesome car. It looked good at the time for the era, and it was cheap. It wasn't an expensive car. I didn't want an expensive car. I wanted something I could work on and deal with and look decent and have somewhat, be a nicer car than just a normal car. But he said no. And
What
wouldn't buy
about like a 65 Mustang?
I would love a 65 Mustang coupe.
How expensive?
70.
Oh, man.
What do you say, Bama? 65 Mustang coupe, about 70 grand. You might be able to get a 60 grand if it's just a roller or a rusted out piece of crap. I don't know.
What's a
Just have to look
280Z
around.
going?
You could find a deal. You never know. You could find one for like under 20,000. Who knows?
I'm not spending 20 grand on a car. That's
I
nuts.
said under 20. I said, who knows? You could. There are stupid people out there that sell shit really cheap sometimes. It happens. People get good deals every once in a million people. It's a
I mean, if it's something I can get under 10 grand and put a couple grand into it, then I'm good.
Yeah, good luck. Really. I mean that. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I mean that. Good luck.
Oh, no. I don't take it.
That would be great. I understand. See,
Well, I know things I found I think it was a 80 model Mustang 4-cylinder. It was somewhere around Atlanta. And somebody, I can't remember how I come upon it anyway. They only wanted $5,500 for it.
Well, yeah, but see, that's a new.
And it ran.
He's talking 73 and earlier.
No, I'm talking 70s and earlier. Doesn't have to be 73.
Late 70s would work for you. So, like I said,
I mean, you can find them, but you got to get lucky as hell.
Yeah.
I actually really like the look. I didn't back in the day. I didn't, but now as I've gotten older and I don't hate them anymore, I like the Mustang 2s. But I owned a Pinto as well, which is the same frame and it was the same body with a little bit of changes. The Mustang 2 and the Pinto were basically the same car with different engines.
Let's see what the Mustang 2. I don't think she'd go for a Mustang 2 because it's not a classic.
I think they are now. I really do.
No, but in her mind.
Their own.
You know what I mean?
It is a classic look. It's a definite classic look.
Oh, 74, 78. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can tell you, some guys that I know find stuff. I know it's not the way to look now, but you'll find people that's got stuff they don't know what they got, and it's on Craigslist.
That's true. But just remember,
You got older people that don't do the Facebook and all that shit like that. You know, go to Craigslist and put, 400 miles distance and see what's on there.
don't forget that Ford almost replaced the Mustang with the Probe.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, you can get Mustang 2s for under 10 grand, no problem.
Maverick Grabber wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be, but yeah, Mustang 2s you can find fairly cheap. You just got to find ones that are fairly rust free. Because even like one I just saw at a car show the other day here, it was a 2 and it was like a late 70s, and it was rusted all to hell because nobody took care of it.
Yeah, that would
Fingers and the flares on them. Yeah, I think they look awesome with that. Now, there's one that I passed like not every day, but a lot of days on my way to work that's coming down the road here, lives up the road from me somewhere. His looks completely stock, but it's in good shape. It's like clean. It could use a paint job most likely. Could use a waxing at least, but it's really clean. And I never get a chance to follow him and talk to him because I'm on my way to work. He's either on his way to work somewhere else or on his way home. So I would love to be able to talk to this guy and see what he wants for it because it's not a bad looking car. And I kind of have a nostalgia thing for the Mustang too because it's so much like the Pinto frame wise and part of the body from the same year because I had a 79 Pinto. It was my first car I ever bought. And if I could find me an old Pinto wagon from around that year, I would buy it in a heartbeat, or a Pinto that was not a hatchback because mine was a trunk model. I don't want the hatchback. I would probably get one if I could find one really, really cheap and good because I know what to do to them to make them a really good car on the drag strip. I know how to fix them up and what to do to them to make them work really well on the drag strip.
Damn, some of these 65 Mustangs, they want 70 grand for them.
I know.
Holy
I
fuck.
told you that.
Dude, they're smoking crack. It's a 65 with a 289 in it. Come on.
I know. Because they know what you can do with that.
I wish I still had my 64 and a half with a 289 HO. Just like what would be worth was just sitting in the backyard.
My 68 coupe would be worth it. It had the straight 6 in it, but the body was so clean. If I still had that, but I mean, you got to remember, I had that in the 80s. What would it? I mean, if I kept it decent and still had it, it would have been garage kept. It would have been a pristine car. It had a vinyl top on it, which was going to come off as soon as I had time, but I never got around to doing that.
Hell, I had my 64 and a half in, 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
But the wiring was so bad, it cost me so much money, and I was paying child support. I just had to get rid of it.
In 24 years, that car has quintupled or more in price. So it was like $5,000 then. It's like $50,000 now.
Yeah, don't remind me now. Well, you didn't have to say that, Pinks.
Yeah, but it's been 24 years. That's a quarter of a century. That is a long time.
So, Pinks, can you put a 408 in a Mustang too?
Can I?
No, but I'm saying we'll fit a 351 Windsor.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Those things had huge engine bays. I had a 302 in mine, and it still had tons of room around it. And mine was a Pinto, but same thing. Same thing. I had a 302 in mine. Had tons of room. What's up, Blitzkrieg?
Are they lighter than the Fox bodies?
Yes.
Oh, damn, you can make a
I
good
believe
drag car out
so.
of it.
But I'd have to look up. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure they are. And most
of which car are you talking about?
Mustang 2.
The Mustang 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
And most of them came with 4 cylinders, but I think they had a couple of 6 cylinders too.
They had some 6 cylinders. Yeah.
Straight 6, not V6. That
Well,
would
They
have
had
been
the one. They had the one Cobra, didn't they?
yeah.
They had a
well, the
Cobra one, too.
I wasn't trying to speak of the Cobra. That's different. But the 6 they had in it wasn't that 3-liter fucking straight 6 that was just unstoppable. I mean,
Oh,
that,
I'm not.
Ford
I'm not
inline
sure about
6.
that.
it wasn't super powerful, but it
Yeah,
was.
it's like 190 horsepower or something, but it lasted forever.
It would last forever. They put them in the trucks, the old F100s, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think there were a couple of Mustang 2s that had that engine in it.
You talking about the 300?
Or
Yeah.
280 or something. Yeah.
300.
300.
Yeah, I thought it was 300.
I think it's the 300.
So they're 2,600 pounds. Wow.
Yeah, they're light. Of course.
Yeah, with an
You gotta
inline
remember,
6,
that's-
that would be a nice setup.
Is that 300 pounds or 200 or 2,000? What? 2,600 pounds with the 4-cylinder in it.
I don't know. It's just a
But-
generic
But
thing.
remember that 4-cylinder was an iron block 4-cylinder. Was not light. I'm pretty sure that was an iron block 4-cylinder, wasn't it? The one that it was a 2.3, and they had some of them that were turbo 2.3s.
You got me on that. I don't know.
Be the biggest? Okay. See, Motorhead. I don't know. I'm guessing on this on the Mustang 2. I don't know as much as I should. Totally guessing. I knew they had
It's a
6
2.3 liter for the 4-cylinder.
Okay, it was a 2.3,
That's gotta be
naturally
gutless.
aspirated.
That's
That's all the ones I've seen around here were 2.3s too. Lately, in the last year, all the ones I've seen at car shows were 2.3, naturally aspirated.
So I'm looking at the interior. This thing's kind of ugly.
Really, the interior?
Dude, I'm just saying. I'm looking at the interior on this thing.
That
Holy
was the
shit.
70s. Give it a break.
Dude, what?
You were alive
smoking
then.
crack.
You remember the 70s?
No, he don't. Mike don't remember the 70s. He's too high.
How old are you, Mike?
I was born in the mid 70s.
Okay, never mind.
Well, never mind then.
Never mind.
This,
Never
this,
mind.
this
I was born in
dashboard,
the
oh my
early 70s, so I
gosh.
remember a lot of the late 70s, especially.
No, if Mike was born in the late 70s, he's being born because I was too high then.
It's got fake wood paneling as the dashboard.
Yeah.
Look.
That's right. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Get up on this panel, Mark.
And now everything they build is all plastic. Back then it wasn't plastic; it was just taped on.
Yeah. Hey, I need Mark to get up on the panel
Oh, this is nasty.
because Mark's had a lot of experience. He's got the Iron 2.3 Lima in his Mustang, in his Fox body, I think,
See if
right? Mustang 2 had a 2.8 Cologne V6. Okay, did it have? Oh, is that what was in the? Oh God, yeah, that was a horrible V6.
Well,
is
get
it
up on the panel. I want to hear about it.
I
It
don't
was
want to be
US.
Inline 6 would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, that old inline 300 was a badass fucking V6 or straight 6. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what years those were in. I have no idea. I just know my son had one in his old F100, and the engine isn't what died on it. I mean, he did kill the engine. I couldn't believe he killed it, but he did.
To me, a 300 was like the R22 in a Toyota.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know about the Mustang 2 now. I'm looking at that interior. I can't. No.
You know, the interior, yeah, whatever. It's not that bad.
Dude, it's bad.
You know why I say that? Because my Pinto had that almost same interior. Leave me alone. And I love that car. It was the first car I ever bought with my money. It was my car.
Maybe I gotta
That
go
is
back.
funny though. Banks have to say it is funny though. You walk down, I got my money. I'm gonna buy me a Pinto.
There was a reason I bought the Pinto, okay? So for the price I got it for. So I wanted a Mustang. I really did. I just couldn't afford it, and I knew I couldn't. At the garage, I worked part-time at for free, learning stuff, basically. I worked there, but I didn't get paid to work there. I got paid in experience, which was fine because I liked hanging out with them. It was a family-owned business. They had a car in their junkyard that was brought in with a seized motor, and they knew it wasn't a seized motor. They knew it was probably just the starter, and that's all it was. It was a starter that had popped out and seized on the flywheel, and it wouldn't turn. And they couldn't even turn it with the crank bolt. So they figured it was seized, got rid of the car. I bought it for $600. It needed I put a new starter in it, popped in a new battery, and the damn thing ran like a champ, for the 4-cylinder with the 4-speed manual transmission. I went and took like a week of wet sanding it, getting it all prepped up, and then I painted it. And then the next week, when I'd had it out on the road for the first time, I got hit by a damn Buick. Because when I saw the car coming and I hit the gas to get out of the way, it went and spit on it, and just died because I hit the gas too hard. I gave it too much gas at one time on that carburetor, and it just killed it. And that's when the 302 went in it the next week. And that became a 600 horsepower beast. And back in the 80s, 600 horsepower was a lot of horsepower.
Yep.
For a, not a professional car. 600 horsepower.
600 horsepower in a 400-pound car. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that car weighed about 2,800 pounds.
Yeah.
With me in it. And I weighed like nothing. I was maybe $140, $150 at the time. Yeah, it was the trunk model, had the 4-cylinder. We ended up getting a 5-speed out of a brand new '89 Mustang, which would have been the T5 World Class.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we got one of those and threw in it, and I ripped the rear end out from under the car. The whole thing came out when we were putting power on it, and we ended up having to redo that and put in an 8-inch, a full 8-inch rear end, and then we welded it in to stretch. We put some torque boxes in, and just got it really solid, and then changed the suspension in a little bit. And that thing was a beast on the track. It really was. It was faster than it would. Let's just say on the track, faster than my Mustang, my new Mustang, my 16 was stock. So I ran faster times than I did in my Mustang when I bought it new, before I did anything to it. But it was a lot of work to get it to that. A lot of work. And it ran quarter miles back then. Sometimes half miles if we could find enough room. Esslinger, back in the day, 600, I missed that.
I'm surprised you didn't break the spider gears before you even ripped the rear end out.
Oh, we did. I twisted a drive shaft too. We ended up using a truck drive shaft on it because at the time that was the easiest way is take a truck drive shaft, cut it, re-weld it, and then balance it. So we could get a big enough drive shaft to hold the power. Because you couldn't just go to a parts place online or whatever to buy this stuff back then. You had to actually make it. It was not easy. But luckily, I was working with a guy at the garage, the son of the owner of the garage, who knew how to do all this stuff. And
that's right.
Because he had a 68 Mustang that was a 68 fastback that was pristine, beautiful, probably pushing about 700 horsepower. And he made his truck's AC work so well that he put a blower fan in it that was 10 times as powerful as the normal ones back then. You got in his car and you froze. You literally would have icicles hanging off you from, when you get in with sweating, they would turn into icicles his truck was so fucking cold. I love it.
But
The guy was
back
good at what he did.
things back in the day, before my daughter was born,
Hey, Fat Boy Fox, go on.
buddy of mine, he but he was old. He was a lot older than I was, but had a guy that was I'll just say he was running cocaine from Florida up to this area.
Yeah.
Had a Vega, the hatch
Yeah.
Vega, with an L82 in it. Well, he was always running from the law, and anyway, the way he had it set up, it was always fouling the plugs or dirtying the plugs up. So we put water injection on it.
Really?
So he left the car. He left the car with us one weekend. We put water injection in it, and we broke 3 sets of spider gears in that son of a bitch before we gave it back to him.
Yeah. That's
Think about that with the torque. You could kick that son of a gun. It was like a go kart. The front would just twist.
Mm.
It would just twist to the right. I mean, that was a bad son of a beast.
Fucking Mark, you're talking shit on a Vega right now? Really? I like the Vega. Don't talk shit. Get on this panel.
Is that Mr. Mustang?
That's 91 Mustang LX.
I
Get
said
up on the
Mr.
panel.
I said Mr.
Yeah. Get up on the panel,
So
Mark.
what about a
Yeah.
60 to 63 Falcon?
Oh, those are nice.
You can
I
get
do like
the inline 6.
With the Falcon 500?
Yep. 60 to
Mark,
63, you can get the inline 6.
Yeah, I like the Falcons. I just like the way they look. And if you can get a wagon, again, I'm a wagon fan. the Falcon wagon was also a beast. I don't remember what years those were, but I really liked them.
Because that would be
Vega with
cheaper than a Mustang, right?
What's that?
That would be cheaper than a Mustang,
It
right?
should be, but it may not be depending on the shape it's in and what they've done to it.
I'm on eBay. You can get them pretty cheap. I mean, if it's done up, you're going to spend 30 grand. But
That's true. Yes,
if you're-
like Victor says, a 65 Falcon. Yeah, that's primo. The Beetle turbos. Which year? You're talking the newer ones, right?
64 Falcon wagon, 60 grand they want for it. Oh,
Yeah. See, that's a problem. The wagons are really highly sought after. The 60. So the Beetle turbos. The only turbos I knew. I remember when they came out with the new Beetles, and they had the diesel with the turbo. They wouldn't put a manual transmission in it. And that's the one reason I didn't like them. They had a lot of power comparatively for their weight and size. They were a lot of power, but they wouldn't put a manual transmission in those. So I said, screw them. 74 Pontiac Astra, brand new, his first car. Oh, the 2000 Beetle. I'm not a big fan of them. I didn't really. Yeah, I've been in one. My wife, we test drove one when my wife was looking for a car years and years ago. Just wasn't a fan of those Beetles. The turbo diesels were fun. I did like those. I just wish they would have put a manual transmission in them. Yeah, same rust issues in the Falcon. Yeah, well, you're going to have that with any of the cars from that generation. I don't know any mid to late 60s cars that don't have rust issues in this day and age. I mean, think about how old that is. I mean, really, that's 60 years. That is 60 years since 1963. So you're looking at rust issues even in the South, even in the South.
Well, you get a nice patina.
Yeah, I guess.
Hopefully that's what you get.
Yeah, I like the old Beetles with the engine out the back, like a Super Beetle with the hopped up off-road engine in them. Those are nice. I've helped a friend do one. Well, yeah, you're in Canada. Of course you have severe rust. I have more rust on my 2016 than I did before I brought it down to the south and had it sit for a year. Sitting for a year, the underside got rustier than I expected it to. Now it's mostly the exhaust, and it's because the exhaust isn't the high-end stainless. Because at the time I got it built, the custom exhaust, we couldn't get the high-end stainless. It was too hard to get. There was a shortage, and this was before COVID. There was just a shortage of it at the time. We couldn't get it, not in the size I wanted, and my exhaust isn't even that big. My exhaust is basically the stock size. It's like 2.75, 2 3/4, not 3-inch, 2.5 to 2 3/4. Old Ford Broncos are cool. I don't mind the new Ford Broncos, just not the Ford Broncos Sports.
The Sport isn't even really a Ford Bronco.
No, it's junk. It's like the Edge. It's basically the Edge upgraded.
I don't think it's upgraded. I think
Like,
it's still the Edge.
wise, it's changed.
Downgraded.
Well,
Yeah,
they changed the body, but it's still the same shit that's
yeah,
underneath.
it's pretty much the Edge
Yeah.
with a different body on it.
Yeah.
The new Broncos are not that bad. I don't know why you're calling them a joke. I've seen plenty of reviews on them, and people doing videos on them with real work on the Broncos. Not the
They're good if they've got the EcoBoost V6. If it's got the 4-cylinder that I got on my Mustang, then it
Yeah,
is
that's
kind of
okay. So it's all dependent on the engine and which package you get.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're that bad
I
overall.
think with the V6, it's not bad.
No,
With the 4,
as long as you got the right package, it's got to have that off-road package for it.
well that's the thing.
Yeah, and the
91
cost is way
Mustang.
too much. Well, they've had
Everything.
Tell me who doesn't have tons of recalls anymore on new stuff.
I don't.
What?
I said I do not.
Well, you're not a car manufacturer, are you?
Yeah, but I don't have no new cars.
Exactly.
Well,
My mom's car is going next week for 3 recalls, I think, anti-theft. Software upgrades, apparently. We kept getting them already.
August 2nd,
Nice.
my truck goes in for a recall too, and it's for programming, and it's all for emission stuff.
I don't think I'd buy another new car again. And I know I'm in my 40s and stating that, but
I will not.
It's just stupid.
Oh, the Sport Bronco is a piece of shit. Yeah, if you're talking about the Sport, yeah, that's a piece of junk.
Yep.
I would never buy one.
But I don't think I'd ever buy a new vehicle again.
My newest vehicle is my truck, and yeah, I love all the extra fancy stuff on it. I do. I can't deny how much I love it, but I do like my older cars. But my oldest car I own right now is a 2014. I have a 2014, a 16, a 17, a 21, and a 23.
Damn, you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear the years of mine.
I don't care. I miss
68, 68, 95, and 93, and finally got a 2014.
So you got to understand that before I moved, like a couple months before I even decided to move, I got rid of all my Fox bodies because they were. I didn't have room for them. I didn't have the time to do what I wanted to with them, so I sold them all to get rid of them because I had 3 of them at one time, and I had an 83, an 85, and an 83. I had 2 83s and an 85. The 85
worth some money today.
Huh?
Those are worth some money today.
I know. They weren't then. I sold them basically for what I bought them for. I sold them for what I bought them for, except for the one I ripped apart, and then I sold it. And I got a little bit more than I paid for out of it. Not much. But that was the one with the bad engine. That was the 83 that was going to be my drag car. I was really hoping that engine was going to work, but that engine was so messed up. It was needing a full rebuild, and I just didn't have the time or money for it. Mostly the time, or the, and even then, it was been a couple years back. I still had more. I could still physically move easier. My back didn't hurt as bad. I could do stuff. I had a lot more energy. I could I could go out and work in the garage all day. Now I'm good if I can get like 4 hours in the garage of work
So
done.
that's the funny thing is like there's no stamina anymore. So
Nope.
I have an electric chainsaw, all right, 80
Mhm.
volt powered, and I'm out there and I'm cutting, limbs and I'm cutting up, trees and stuff for the fire. And by the time that 80-volt battery died 30 minutes later, I'm tired. Like,
No shit. I get on my riding lawnmower and wear myself out. How's that? Zero
yeah,
turn. And
well,
I'm
we're
tired by the
about the
time
same
I'm done.
age. It's just like, wow.
Yeah. I'm 52
Yeah,
and
I'll be 48.
yeah, say 4 years. So I guess it's not really that. I do also weed eat, and the weed eating is what really kills it for me. And then if I have to use my it's self-propelled, but it's a push mower, just a regular mower, but self-propelled. That's my electric one. That one just kills me. And in my front yard, I have to use it because when they redid my ditch, they fucked it up to where I couldn't just mow it anymore with my zero turn because they redid the ditch too steep, and I can't drive down it because my mower slips and falls into the ditch, and I'm like stuck. So you made a video
Yeah,
about
wait till you get 59, you'll see what's going on.
that? Yeah. I'm not sure. I always said I'd never make it to 50. In my 30s, I was like, I'm never making it to 50. And now I'm thinking, 60s are far stretch, and I'm got 8 years to get there. And who knows? Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I won't.
It's that saying, if I would have known I was going to live so long, I would have taken better care of myself.
No shit. And I keep warning. I warned my
Yeah.
son years and years ago, and he kept fucking himself up. And now at 24, almost 25, he is in pain already at that age. And I'm like, you fucked up. You just
Well,
wait.
it's like these kids that are Zach's age, and Zach probably doesn't do this, or maybe he does, but they're gaming so much that they have carpal tunnel by the time they're 20, and it's like
Oh, I had
that's all
carpal
you're
tunnel
gonna
by
do
the
for the
time I
rest
was
of your life.
30.
Yeah.
I had carpal tunnel by 30, but that was because of my job.
But you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
like
I
these
know.
kids, they destroy their hands and their wrists and everything, and it's like,
Uh,
okay, you're 20, you got another 60 years. Now what are you gonna do?
hurt a lot because it
Yeah, no
doesn't get
shit.
better. Yeah, I will say that at least when I bought my 5.0s, like I got my 85 T top for $500. I sold that one for more than that. Um, I got all my Fox bodies pretty cheap. I think the one I had that I got that was in good shape and running when I got it, I ended up selling it for I only had it for like a couple months, and I didn't do anything to it. And I sold it for a couple $100 more than I bought it for. And I wasn't even planning on selling that one. But I had somebody come by who had just lost theirs from about the same year. And it was an 86, I think. No, that was an 84, 85. It was an 85, just regular hatchback. And they had just lost theirs in a bad car accident, and they needed a new car, and they really wanted to get another Fox body, and they lived a couple blocks from me, and I didn't know them, but they came over, and I wasn't planning on selling it, but when I gave them the price, a couple hundred more than I paid for it, and they had cash in hand like later that afternoon.
Yep.
I was like, okay, it's gone. I mean, I didn't make a lot on it, but I wasn't trying to screw them over because I knew they were hurt. And then I went and took it to them, and I saw their old one because they had it in their backyard, and I felt so bad. I don't know how that lady lived through that accident. I really don't. And she barely had any scars on her. You could see where she had gotten hurt and some cuts and stuff, but that thing it looked like it had been through a crusher. I couldn't believe anybody lived through that accident. She was hit by a big truck. She was T-boned, and
Oh.
it just destroyed that thing. It's like, oh my God, she wanted another one. And she still wanted another one. It's like, okay. They went from yellow to red because their old one was yellow and mine was red. It had manual windows, you know. Still love the car. It didn't have a working speedometer. That was like the only problem with it. I mean, it had other little problems, but the biggest problem with it was the speedometer didn't work. It was something I was going to fix, but, you know, I sold it within 2 weeks of buying it. And then I got rid of all the other ones. I had, at the time, I had 3 other ones that were not running. I just didn't have time for them. I realized I bought them thinking I'd have time to repair them and get them all running and then sell them. And it just, you know, just got to be that I, for one, bought too many at one time. And I got in over my head, and I realized I didn't have the knowledge of how to do some of the stuff like the body work, because I'm not good at body work. And just mostly didn't have time, so I ended up just started selling them for what I bought them for, just to get rid of them.
So I'm looking at those Ford Falcons on Marketplace. Yeah, you can get them a good price.
If you can find a good wagon, get the wagon.
Why the wagon? Huh?
It holds more
Holds more what?
stuff. I don't know. I
got
just
a-
like
I
the
got a
look of the
truck.
wagon better. I can't explain myself. I like
No, I need
the
no more
wagon better.
shit.
Some of my favorite cars have been wagons. And you can put a
I
bigger.
had an Eagle station wagon. That was crap.
Oh, you had an AMC Eagle?
Yep.
I did too. I love that thing. Mine was lifted.
Oh, I blew the transfer case on it.
Mine had been replaced when I bought it. When I bought it, it had upgraded parts in it. The guy had lifted it. The thing was great. I loved it, but it was not practical, and it was my daily driver. I had it for about 6 months and sold it just because. And that's when I went from that to an Escort. You know, and I had at least 5 or 6 Escorts that I could remember in a row, and then I moved to the Focus, and then I had 3 Focuses in a row, and then I bought the Mustang. Yep, AMC Eagle needed a better transfer case. That is correct, but they were fun little cars.
I used to like jumping over curbs.
I don't, you know, I took mine off roading. I never jumped it over curbs, but I took it off road mudding. I had a blast in it for the 6 months I owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had non-practical tires on it. They weren't great for the road because they were noisy as hell. But off road, oh my God, that thing was awesome. The 4-wheel drive on it worked great. It interior wise was kind of shot, but I was young. I didn't care. I could fit my kids in it. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I think they were too young to even remember it because they were all in car seats back then. But it was brown. It was that two-tone. So it had brown in the middle and the lighter brown tone. I didn't care. Really didn't. It replaced, trying to remember what car I had before that. Whatever it was, it died. I think it was an Oldsmobile that caught on fire. I went through a lot of cars, and like my roommate will tell you, when I lived with him, when I first moved in with him, before we even moved to the house together, because we were in an apartment, I went through like 6 cars in less than 6 months. Now, I didn't pay a lot for these cars. I paid like between $50 and $300 for each of these cars back in the 90s. Maybe was that early 2000s? Yeah, it had to be early 2000s because I was divorced. when my kids were alive, because they were born 96, 98. So, yeah, I went through a lot of cars back then. Wasn't nice to them either. I drove them like they were all sports cars, even though they weren't. But yeah, had an Eagle. I had. I remember the first car brand new that I bought was a 1994 Escort wagon. And then I got out of the Army and I couldn't afford to keep it anymore. That was a fun car. That friends officially dubbed the Green Bullet because of the way I drove it. 5-speed with that little 2-liter, I think it was. Is that a 94? Was that 2-liter or 2.3? I can't remember. But I pushed it all the way into red line all the time. Didn't kill it though.
So here's a guy in North Carolina selling a 73 Mach 1. No paint, no motor. It's got a transmission.
How much?
5 Gs.
Does it have a rear end?
Yeah?
I'd buy it. If it's not rusted all to hell. And it's got an interior?
No picture of the interior.
That could mean it's completely stripped out.
Yeah.
Most likely. It might even not even have a dash. Or
Yeah, I was gonna say probably don't even have a dash.
a dash or a steering wheel or any of that.
Looks like it was a drag car, potentially,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at this thing. It's got no engine. I see long tube headers that are just connected to an exhaust. I see an automatic transmission and a big old square Excel coil.
Well, Mike, are you on this live stream with your computer or your phone?
Computer.
You should share that.
Yeah, put it up on the widescreen and show it to us, and let's look at it.
I'll put the post right here.
No, put it up. Hold your phone up to the
I can't
computer.
put it on that. Can I?
Oh, hold on. Well, now I gotta find it in Facebook. Hold on.
Why did that even show up? I saw it on my StreamYard, but I didn't see it in the YouTube.
Well, I can't see it because I'm on my phone. I can't even see the chats.
Yeah, well, I just switched over to the YouTube side, and I don't see it because on YouTube at least I can highlight it, and I can make it clickable. But in StreamYard I can't.
Yeah,
Mike, are you looking on your phone at the car?
here it is. Yeah, just go full screen on me.
Yeah, I was finna say, there you go.
Hold on, let me get back to StreamYard again. Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, you can tell there's no engine in it. Look at how and no front end. Okay, it does have the tranny, the brakes, everything's in there.
See the Excel
And-
coil right there?
I see it. What the hell am I looking at here? Is that the front?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the fake lights?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's a drag car.
Should definitely ask them what the interior looks like. I mean, if it's got an interior, it is worth it.
Well, I'm not looking to buy anything now. I got to get the shop first.
But I'd say for $5,000, man, that's not bad. If it's got the transmission, rear end, all 4 wheels on it, straight body, that's not a bad deal. Because that's expensive. That's a lot of money worth right there. He could sell that for probably way more than that.
Yeah.
If it has an interior.
Yeah,
I
it's got to
know
have the
that.
interior.
Without the interior, he's priced right. Because the interior is one of the most expensive parts to buy on that damn car because of its age.
Yeah,
So I did not mean to full screen you, Bama. I'm sorry. I
But
would
for me,
full screen Mike and I clicked on you for some reason.
I'm gonna wait on getting something. But those Falcons look pretty nice.
I do like Falcons. I am a fan.
If I can get a convertible, it'd be even better.
Although I've been looking at Torinos lately, and oh god, I'm falling in love with those again too. Just because I saw one that's 72 at the car show the other day, I was like, oh, I missed the Torinos, the Gran Torino Sports. And that one had the Cobra Jet engine in it.
Nice.
It wasn't a Cobra Jet. It was just the Cobra. It was the Gran Torino Sport with a Cobra Jet 429. So it was the lower horsepower 429. Because the Cobra Jet,
there ain't nothing wrong with that.
huh?
I said, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. It's like 20. It's a 20 horsepower difference, I believe, between the actual Cobra Jet Gran Torino. But the Cobra Jet Gran Torino looked better, in my opinion. Now that one had the side pipes on it that I think were the same as the Cobra Jet, and they did not look the original stock ones. They were too clean. So it was really nice looking. And there was another one there. There was a 70 there too. I didn't get video of it because my son was getting on me about taking video of every car. And I was like, but I need these because I can turn these all into shorts and just throw it out every day. But guess what? I've run out of them because somebody said something to me about doing all the cars at the car show. And I was getting a little tired. And it was like 95 degrees and humid as fuck.
Yeah, those Aussie Falcons were pretty nice. Yep.
Hard to find those, especially here in America.
I dated this one girl that her and her ex had like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. They run an import company.
She was she wasn't from Australia. She was from New Zealand. And she had them
from New Zealand. Wow.
Yep.
Where'd you meet her? College?
No, I was selling insurance at the time. She was one of my clients.
Oh. How long ago was that? Had to be a while.
Yeah.
You've been married for how long now?
11 years.
Damn, yeah. That's it. Yeah, when I say
About
a while,
18 years ago.
I guess a while for me is like 20 some years ago. So
Yeah.
the Aussie car, even the Aussie cars now and the Barra engine, I miss that because they just stopped production on them last year or year before.
Yeah.
That was one of the better engines they built for just longevity. I don't understand. I guess it's all the rules is why they're changing some of the getting rid of some of the stuff. It's the government's rules and the regulations are killing a lot of good things.
Yep. All right, guys. I'm gonna get some sleep.
Yeah, I said I was ending this like I don't know, an hour plus ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
And Mark never came up, even though I'm sure he's not smoking anymore. But it's fine. We're getting ready to shut it down, Mark.
Yeah, because it's almost 1 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, it's almost midnight here. I should probably get some sleep myself.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Hey, take it easy, everybody. We're gonna call this good. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Can't believe there's still 8 people in here. It's amazing. But y'all have a great evening, and I'll catch you on the next one.
See you.
Thanks for letting me up, Pink.
Oh,
Thanks,
no problem.
Binks.
No problem. I'll have my normal live on Wednesday. Later.